So Cedric, you ain't gonna come in here. Said I need my other pseudo killer on here. You know I ain't talking about no Noah's Ark. I was just in the back chat talking to my man Cedric, and he asked me what was the topic, and I told him Noah's Ark as a joking. He said he ain't coming on. But the topic is science pushing the conscious community forward. You know, from all of the conversations that's being had, you know, over the last 2 years, I think science has been pushing the conversation forward. So, you know, whether we're dealing with the pandemic, you know, I think pushing science then allowed us to learn way more than we did in the conscious community than previous years when it was just the study of history. And even in history, I think science is pushing our understanding of history forward. You know, we're starting to look at what the disciplines in science is saying about certain historical phenomena. We've been arguing about oh, you said it's creating a clear divide. No, but it's a good divide. Even the people that's on the other side of the fence is still learning. They're even starting to use science to defend their point. So, you know, I think science is a good thing for the conscious community. Now that we're starting to deal with that and remove a lot of the uh I guess the spiritual element out of it. Because I think a lot of people in the conscious community um was more hold on, here come my man said. Let me get you in said. Yo, peace, Master. Peace, everybody. Said I can't hear you. What's up?
Peace, chef. Peace, chef. Peace to the family. Peace to the chat. Peace to everybody. Still here in Panama, recuperating. I got my Ferrari next to me, but I'll be doing good.
Peace. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, my mic's not on mute. You can hear me. Can you hear me? My mic's not on mute. Peace, family. Peace. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, ain't cool.
Peace to the family. Peace to the chat. Peace to everybody. Like you see, I'm still here in Panama, still healing up. I'll be going home sometime next week. Got my hip replacement done. Oh, I hear the big boy in the back. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but science is starting to create that divide. I mean, I've been following the conscious community for a minute, and and sorry to say, but it's a bunch of pseudo nonsense. From Bobby Hemmett come right up, Phil Valentine. I love to listen to him though. He puts me to sleep. I love the slick talk. I love the eloquence with which he says his pseudoisms, and he wears a hat like this and he preaches to the people and he says, you have to look beyond our rise. Okay, good. But a bunch of nothing. Talk a lot without saying a single thing that makes any sense. Joining words on to each other, but not making any coherent conversation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Blackology 101. It's all over the place. People's ability to focus and pay attention to the actual subject matter and stay on point is, you have to be scientifically literate to even follow these debates clearly enough to say, wait a minute, you gone off topic, come back here.
Facts.
And now we're starting to see a clear divide. For example, every time Ankh is on Sarnetta, I have an issue. Sarnetta has a short attention span for actual information, and that is his audience too.
Mm.
5 minutes into the build, and he loses his focus. He starts to ask the pseudo questions and starts to break up the build because it is boring. It isn't exciting. It isn't the Brooklyn Magic. It isn't all the hype. And
Mm-hmm.
because science isn't about hype, because science is about slowing it down, I'm afraid most of us, and I don't know why, Black people have a problem embracing science. I think it's because we're accustomed to sitting in the pews from small and listening to pastor. Usually
Mm.
we have the Bible, but the Bible's closed. Even if
Mm-hmm.
he says turn to chapter so, you turn to chapter so, but your head is up listening to pastor. The exercise and the due diligence of actually putting in the work.
Right.
Because anytime somebody would actually read that Bible cover to cover, you no longer religious. It's impossible. The day somebody actually reads the Bible cover to cover, you're no longer religious. But what we do is we put on the Bible glasses, and we take in these stories based on what pastor says, and then we lose the whole sight of the reality of these stories. Don't make no sense. God is from Job. God asking the devil where he was. Huh? Wait a minute. How you don't know? That is even like the story of Job. If you get past that chapter in the Bible, you good. That book is illustrated of poor writing skills. You don't read enough books, not even fictional books, to say, wait a minute. The whole twist of this character plot don't make no sense. Why would a devil take a bet with God? He gonna lose. Just from the jump, he's gonna lose.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with our attention span and dealing with science. I think you're right on point about it not being entertaining enough for us, right? Because with this science stuff, even for people like us, that's lay people that come to science just to want to know information, is rigorous, right? First off,
Yeah,
you have to learn the lingo. The
yeah,
vocabulary gap is huge in science.
yep.
You know what I mean? The vocabulary
The
gap
no
is
the
huge.
nomenclature alone,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
nomenclature, and that is
Exactly.
now specifically for each subject. Because what it means
Exactly.
over here, it doesn't mean over there. So now you got to go back and learn the nomenclature for each one of those subject matters, and
Yeah.
it's hard.
It's
Some
hard.
subjects, I'm a simple student, so I sit and I listen. Other subjects where I'm versed in, I've already been through that exercise. But the
Mhm.
other subjects, like for example, I'm not versed in anything Egyptian. That's what brought me into the conscious community, learning about like we did that for true. Like, wait a minute, wait, you lie. No, wait a minute. I did what? I didn't know that. The pyramids, all this, completely ignorant of that stuff. So
Mhm.
I'm a student there. So now I got to take my time and get the blows and come with my pseudo nonsense and get beat up and go through the exercise and learn the vocabulary and come back again. It's due diligence. I am not even ready to start learning the language because my foundation in just basically understanding the whole dynamic of it isn't there yet. But as a scientist, I understand that I don't know that. So I take my time and put in the work to understand it and grow. Now, then West Africa. Listen, when you come from the Caribbean and you're educated in a Dutch system, you don't know where you're from. You think you're a Caribbean. You believe fundamentally that you just fell off the face of the earth. I'm having these arguments now. Tell an average Caribbean person you're African, they'll flip out on you. So,
Hey, see,
yeah.
see now that's a shock to me, right? What island you from?
I'm from St. Martin, Dutch West Indies.
Okay, Saint Martin. It seems to us that most of the Caribbean is more Afrocentric. You know what I mean? It appears
They
that
they they don't understand where their Afrocentrism
come
comes from.
from.
They
Oh, okay,
really
okay.
think it's Caribbean based.
Oh, okay, okay.
They really think it's Caribbean based. No, we're not. And I keep to like Swahilians are, for example, that's what my island is originally called by the Indians that come from that area. And
Mm-hmm.
we embrace that name as usurpers, as if we represent those people. We don't. We simply don't. We came to the Caribbean about 200 years after they were wiped out. How can we assume that identity? How?
Mm.
Said,
Yes,
See,
sir.
that's Fitz. What's up, Fitz?
what's up?
Ain't nothing. Give us the perspective from the UK. You know, I thought most you know black people from the UK. I thought a lot of y'all come from the Caribbean also, right?
Yeah, my parents are from Jamaica, and
I see. Yeah.
it's a different kind of, it's a different settings in Jamaica because of the Rastas, and they kind of gave us the knowledge of what West Africa,
Mm.
you know, through all of the even though they were stooped in the Bible, they still gave us that West African essence, you know,
That's what the conscious community gave me. I ain't gonna lie.
and
A foundation of knowledge of self that I could now start the journey, because other than that, void of my intellect, we consider ourselves Dutch and French. That's how we identify ourselves,
it
by a
depends on who,
nationality imposed.
it depends on who you've been nationalized by, because we're by the British. And even in school over here, they tell us about our African history. They don't hide it.
No, no, the Dutch has a very unique way of pretending that shit never happened. Up to today, they will not acknowledge that they were the kings of slavery, that they were the number one colonial empire at a certain point in time. They will deny that to their grave.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, see, that's a whole different perspective. Like Fitz is saying, they get ample enough self history. The British probably tell a more truthful story than the Dutch, right?
We learn about Pete Hein, and these type of fellas, the actual pirates of the Dutch. Those are the stories we get in history class from our school education. Mind you, most of the primary schools are religious based. They're Catholic, they're Anglican, and Methodist. Those don't even touch those subjects really. And when you get into secondary education, we learn European, Dutch European format of history. Our schools are European based. When I finish high school, I go to Europe to study. I speak fluent Dutch.
Wow.
We're educated in a Dutch system. The French side of my island is even worse. There, the people don't even have the liberty to give to name their children um, anything void of a French name. It's all Jean-Luc, Jacques.
Mm.
You go to the census and they tell you, no, you're not going to name your son that. You're going to have to give him a French name. So the French is even far more dominating than the other islands. At least on Saint Martin, we speak English. But there are other islands like Guadeloupe, they speak strictly French.
Mm.
So because of the French influence. Now a lot of us, my kids, my three eldest kids are in Europe studying right now. It's just a natural progression. You come out of high school. For us to make the transition to go to the United States, you would have had to specifically choose to go to an English-speaking school. But the predominant schools on the island are Dutch, and the culture is the more Dutch that you control, the more you equate yourself to the European. So my Dutch is excellent.
So Dutch, is that German?
It's next to German, but it's not German. I can understand German. If I make an effort, I can actually learn German. I can read some German, but it's not German. It's pretty close though.
Dutch is Holland. Holland, chef.
Yeah, from the
Holland,
Netherlands.
right,
Yeah,
Holland.
Netherlands. So it's not German, but it's all within the same language group.
Okay. Like Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, gotcha.
And I actually speak those languages. Not like polite. Shots.
Yeah. Yeah, but see now, what you are explaining is, a diversity that we don't get in the States, right? That multiculturalism, that being multilingual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being able to speak Dutch and can understand German and you know
Dutch,
what I mean?
Spanish,
And
French. My
Spanish
kids
and
speak
French.
even one more up than me. It's part of the curriculum in school. We 3 to 4 languages is basic.
Yeah,
It's
because
just
y'all
basic,
islands are so connected
and it's
economically
so it's
that
so small.
yeah.
We have a lot of people from the Dominican, etc. You see, and we're relatively a rich country because of our Dutch affiliation. So we got a lot of people from the different islands, Jamaicans, Dominicans, Haitians. We
Right.
on my little rock, 32 square miles, we have 102 nationalities.
Wow.
Yeah, so the diversity is like really diverse, from Indians to Chinese to Arabs to name it. It's on that little rock.
All right, so they have a question for you. Vasa want to know about Kofi's rebellion. You
Who?
know, Kofi's rebellion. Hey Vasa, was that in on St. Martin or was that in the
Nah,
Caribbean in general? I'm still waiting for that.
that's most probably for Jamaica. See,
Well,
I'm learning a lot of this.
Busa's rebellion. You never heard of Busa's rebellion or Kofi's
Like
rebellion?
my little island didn't have no rebellion.
I've
We
heard of them.
we heard about the emancipation, and we had a celebration because at a certain point in time the European just gave up. There was no actual war that took place or fight for freedom.
Oh, okay.
That never took place on my little rock. What happened is the northern side of the island, the French side, they abolished slavery before the Dutch side, of course, because the Dutch held on to that shit the longest. So what would happen with some slaves would escape. Now again, it's a 32-mile square island, so they would
It
escape,
really ain't
cross,
nowhere to run
nowhere to run. They
other
would
than get
cross.
off the
They would
island.
they would cross the hill and then be on the French side, and then that's how they would free themselves until the Dutch finally gave up slavery on the Dutch side. But this was because of the rebellions that's what were happening throughout the Caribbean and the U.S. and the abolishment of slavery. So slavery ended on my island when it was abolished. We never.
What year?
Uh, when was slavery abolished? Come. When was it abolished in the U.S.?
1865.
Okay,
officially?
we
Or
about
it
3 years
started in
late.
1861?
1868, if I'm not mistaken, on the Dutch side. Although the French side, because of what happened in Haiti, that was all interconnected. So Haiti's revolution ended slavery for all the French countries. So half of the island, slavery was abolished before the other half, but you didn't have newspapers, you didn't have nothing like that. So the Dutch slaves were hearing rumors and whispers, and they would escape to the French side, and that's how eventually it all fell apart. Not
Oh,
because of no real rebellion and taking over stuff, and none of that took place on my little rock.
okay.
And
So,
on top of that, it's not taught in school. We have a local hero they call Wantiti Loke. If you want to know about this lady, you have to go and research it. It's not taught in school. Her one titty was chopped off because she insisted on continuously escaping.
mm,
So there's a national monument of her, and we somehow recognize her as being a rebellious woman, but it's not part of the curriculum in school. The kids don't learn about this.
wow. Wow. So y'all basically get a Dutch history.
Yeah, Dutch
Uh,
history, pirates and taking over the Caribbean and the war with the Spanish, and that's the history we learn.
wow.
None of that stick in my head because it wasn't any relevance. Civil War, European Civil War. I know everything about the 80-year war that the Dutch fought for their freedom from the Catholic Church. That's the history we get in high school. Pure European history.
Wow.
So my dad, for example, that never went to Europe until about in his late 50s for my brother's wedding, would be able to explain to me before I left the island to go to Holland
Mhm.
everything about that country, never having been there.
So let me ask you. Well, Fitz, since you from the UK, by way of what you say, Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
you was raised in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all system you learned. Okay, kind of sort of like the United States, y'all got both the British
Mm-hmm.
history and the history of how y'all came to be a part of the what do y'all call it? The crown or the what is
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it?
The empire.
The empire, the
Empire, the
British,
British
yeah, the British
Empire.
Empire,
In
right?
Dutch, we call it Koninkrijk.
Right, so all of the nationalities or different ethnic groups that was colonized by England, I guess, for
They,
economics and education. That's like the central uh, hub where all y'all go at. Like if you from India, anywhere that the British had colonized, I would think that is the same, right?
mm, yeah.
Like how
The
all
Brit-
y'all look at the as the UK is the place to go for economic stability and what I mean, education and what I
the
mean.
British the
Yeah,
British were a bit different from the Dutch and the French, and then
explain.
and because basically they had an empire. They really did take over. They're the last big empire you could see. So
Right,
you get what I mean in that sense. So they had they had to they had to do with things a bit different. The French and the Dutch, they needed the little islands in the Caribbean, so they adopted a different sense. The English had the Windrush, where they invited a lot of the Caribbean over, and that changed things over there. It kind of basically they invited us over and made us basically the same as them, citizens. We had the racism, obviously,
right.
but they gave us all the qualities of life what the British had over there.
Yeah, we got that too. We got that too. I got a European passport.
Yes.
Okay.
I go to Europe. I travel through Europe as if I'm a European. I have
In
all
their
Dutch rights in the
in their
Netherlands. There's no
in
difference.
the, in their schooling system, they were a bit more liberal. They basically
That's the
gave
difference.
everyone, everyone's history, and they weren't frightened to tell you what they did wrong. You know, like it's down to you to deduct everything, but they gave every history. It wasn't just about African or British or, it's about all history.
No, Dutch don't do that. They wiped out the Moluccas from Indonesia. Those people still don't have a state. They all live in Holland, but they are stateless people. But Holland never explained why the Moluccas are a stateless people. They were Indonesia, Suriname. Suriname is now independent, but still a lot of Surinamese can just go to Holland because it's still predominantly Dutch language based education system. We have all European rights. However, the Dutchman isn't going to tell you, hey, you know, I'm a slave driver. I wiped out complete nations. They have it, they know it. It's intertwined here and there, but it's not something they bring to the forefront and put on the table and tell you, look, this is the truth. This
So,
is
so the
how it
Dutch,
happened.
so the Dutch were in, I think the New England states at first, also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. New Amsterdam,
New
New York.
Amsterdam. Okay,
Yeah,
right, right,
yeah,
right, right,
yeah,
right, right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Right up on the East Coast,
Yeah.
there's still a small Dutch colony that exists. Every New Year's, they still make Oliebollen.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So now, one question before we get back on Fitz.
Mm-hmm.
What is the English? Is that the right way to say it, or do you
British.
the British? British. All right. What is the British take on the United States? Like, what do y'all learn about the history of the United States? What's the perspective of it in the British educational system? Like, how do they teach it to y'all? Like, what was the
Well,
is the United States, was they wrong in the conflict, or like what is the
they
who?
they, they believe they're wrong now. You know,
Okay.
after you see what people got to understand in there's been a shift, and there's always going to be a shift in generational thinking. In
Mhm.
them days, they never saw it was wrong. All the way up and maybe up until the 1940s, they maybe didn't see it was wrong. But now there's so much, the way they speak about it and the way they go on about it and give you so much more information. They're accepting what they did wrong, and they're trying to not make that happen again with the native and with slavery.
No, I'm saying far as wise the United States, like the from them losing the colony,
Oh no, they don't. Then they're
they
not.
they they feel like they were wrong.
They feel more wrong about the war. They're more
Oh,
thinking.
okay.
They don't really. They're intertwining in betweens. They know that's just humanity, but they're more wrong. They're more compassionate about wars going on and about the natives when they first came. That kind of thing.
But for black people, I know this is
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. That's not what I'm asking. You
Mm.
that's not what I'm asking. I'm
Mhm.
asking
Mhm.
far as wise the United States or the 13 colonies getting their independence. What is the British educate, like how do they view that, like because we view it that's taught for us that we was fighting a righteous war, right? That the 13 colonies were fighting a righteous war, right?
Mhm.
To gain their independence. I want to know from the colonizer standpoint, what is
Mhm.
what is the educational like how do
They
they
give,
teach?
Perspective. Yeah.
they give you
Yeah,
the
perspective.
basic. They give you the basic history. They
They
don't
don't
hold
tell you
feelings.
who's right or who's wrong.
No, yeah, they don't
Oh,
hold
okay.
feelings
They just tell you
either
about
way.
the conflict.
They tell you about the conflict. They think the conflict's wrong. Full stop now, chef.
Okay.
There's none, and we've driven that religious sense out of it as well, because that plays
Okay.
a part of it. So they don't give a bias report on it. They give you history.
Yeah, but isn't it a to lose a colony, right? Something that that the British feel like they settled, right? And had ownership of, I
The
would
British
think that
were,
they would feel,
the,
some type of way about that. Like,
you see what the British were very smart at. They realized the new world was coming. The empire ship, that colony, all of that, they had to get rid of it. You know, it's not seen as that in this era, if you get what I mean, Chef.
yeah, I got you.
Back then, that would have been a big thing to lose a colony, you
Right.
know. But now in the 2000s, and even from the 19s, they don't see nothing. They've seen a new world. They had already got their language halfway around the world. So what more did they need? They just needed to sit back and be what they had to do.
Right. And my man Cedric, y'all didn't have those issues. So what do Holland y'all educational system, what do y'all teach, what was taught to y'all about the US, and what was the y'all the
Again,
educational perspective on the
again,
US,
again, like
or the Holland's viewpoint of the US?
the their time in New York, for example, was very limited. We learned, yeah, there was a colony there, and after they left, the British drove them out. They give us the again, that's European against European, so their perspective is pretty clinical. This is just what happened.
Right.
So there is no how you say, there is no sense of loss or animosity when telling that story. What we do get is, for example, the religious war, the 80-year war that was fought against the Catholic Church for the independence of the Nederlanden, the lower lands. That's an 80-year gruesome war that was fought against the Spanish and against the church, the predominantly Catholic Church. Now, their perspective on that today still remains the same. There's a celebration that takes place in blackface, right?
Wow.
No, stop for a second. I don't have an emotional problem with it. Why?
No, you gotta explain that one. Come on.
I'm gonna explain why. It's because of the Catholic relationship with the Netherlands at that time, right? Europe. The Moors were in Spain, right? The the African army was closest to the European, right? The Spanish. When the conquest finally took place, how do you proclaim to the rest of Europe your victory? You take back slaves. You take back captors of war. Those were not, it was not, in that time, it had no racial context. It was, we Christians defeated those Arabs, those Muslims. Here is the evidence. So what took place was that the Catholic bishop traveled through all the European territory that they held, showing off the how you say, the war captives, which were predominantly Africans. So now, if you understand it from a historical context, you can say, hey, listen, are you supposed to get a little bit more sensitive to these things in nowadays? But I understand it purely from a historical context. Now, when we Black people in the Caribbean, for example, get upset about that, but every Sunday go to a Catholic church, there's
So,
where now I have a problem.
hold on. You're going too fast. You're going too fast.
Again,
You just dropped something on me. You're
this,
saying that y'all have a holiday,
yes, it's 5th of December,
the 5th
right?
of December, and the
That
white people dress up in white and blackface
in blackface, right?
to
And
mark
they call it
the Moors.
Zwarte Piet. It's the Moors. It's the end of the 700-year domination of Spain by the Arabs.
Okay,
We
so
all know that
this
history.
is because you said y'all was controlled by Holland. So this is a
Yes,
Catholic thing.
It's like,
Okay.
you understand?
Okay. I'm with you.
So now the Catholics control all of Europe. There was after this part of history, there was an 80-year war, 80 years long, that the Dutch and the Belgium and the Germans fought for their freedom, independence
From the Catholic Church.
From the Catholic, aka Spanish domination.
Hey, look, whoa, pump your brakes. For me, this is fascinating. Hey, where you at? I see you.
I'm on myalgia. It keeps going, nausea.
Yeah, I'm on this other show.
All right, go back on.
They're recording
All
all
right,
of these
keep rocking. I'll be over there in a bit.
because
All
they're
right,
making
I'm
sure
right here.
that it's safe and infectious.
Chef,
Yeah.
they have.
Oh yeah, how the
holiday.
brothers doing though, man? How the brothers doing, man?
We good. We having a real good build over here. We need you over
Okay.
here.
We got depth right here.
Yeah. I think y'all doing a great job. I appreciate that. I like to shut the hell up some motherfucking time. Here y'all, I'm trying to learn something. Shit.
Right.
Can't learn always talking, but go ahead. I'm with y'all.
Go ahead, Fitz.
Yeah, over here we have a holiday, Black Friday. Do you not have it over there?
Black Friday. Yeah, it's a shopping holiday over here. It's like right after our Thanksgiving. It's called Black Friday. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And now we adopted all those things in the Caribbean too.
So what's y'all Black Friday, Fitz? What's the significance of? Because I don't know the significance. All right, our stems from Protestantism, right? So our Black Friday, I guess it must have something to do with Catholicism to all of it. But it's Black Friday. What the fuck? No,
it's a sale day. It's a sale.
It's a sale day. I'm thinking about Good Friday. Go ahead.
Yeah,
so I don't think our Black Friday has any
it's the same as
religious significance. Our Good Friday does. That's the Friday when Jesus got crucified. Right. But Black Friday, it's a sales thing. Well, go ahead, tell us about y'all Good Friday, Fitz.
Black Friday,
my bad.
It's kind of like what Cedric saying, but it's not really religious based. It was when the sales of the black sales, the Black Friday.
Damn.
So when on the day of, it was a Friday most likely, that they used to have a sale of blacks.
Wow.
And that's the history passed down to us, and they still do. They do it up to today, and Chef, I'm not gonna lie, I go and shop on.
You get
Black
the sales.
Friday.
You take advantage of the sales.
Yeah.
Because, oh man,
it's a different perspective.
Context, yeah. Context change after time.
Well, context definitely change after time. But that's deep. The Black Friday in the UK was the day that they was selling niggas. And it comes down to us, and our people still go and take advantage. It just shows you, you know what I mean, the level of consumerism, right? That drives these economies, whether in Europe or in the Americas. But back to because we all are consumers, right? So it's, motherfucker gonna take advantage of the sale regardless. They don't care where it came from, you know what I mean?
And you know what, Chef? And this is what I'm trying to combat, is that we can't be emotional over these things no more. It's a different context of what we're living in, like even if it was, that's the history what was passed down to us. If it might not be, it might be. But even if it was.
Oh, that's y'all blackology. So y'all got blackology over there too.
I got plenty of blackology over there.
Oh, okay. Hey, so the chat, look, he's saying it might not be true. That's how the black community over there, that's their pseudoism, or that's where they feel they put their stamp on it. He's not saying that it could be actually rooted in history. He's saying that's a perspective of it. So calm down, because black people over here do the same thing. You know what I mean? But
that's the thing. That's the thing. Kind of like what we had a problem with the word monkey. Well, we don't. No one on here has a problem with the word monkey, but we hear black and we hear slavery, and it triggers us, and we got to realize that's a long time ago. We're living in a
different world now.
Way different.
Oh, Bias said that theory of the Black Friday that you talking about, Fitz. He said that's some Farrakhan shit. That thing crept over there to the UK.
It's not even. I'm not even trying to say it's true or not. I'm trying to give a kind of analogy of why what the problem is. You see, Cedric just said he ain't got no problem with that really, because we got a different kind of outlook.
I think different. But the whole point, what I'm trying to make is the people the black people that are up in arms against the Zwarte Piet, the blackface that takes place in Europe, and they put a racial context to it when it had nothing to do with race. Mind you, it had nothing to do with race. It was
just a historical fact. And
a historical fact. We won this war. We finally kicked the Moors out of Spain, and here's the evidence. These are the captives, right? And it was the Catholic Church, mind you, the Catholic Church that was parading because it was a religious war. Those same people complaining about the blackface, right? Most of them are Catholics.
So it's a Catholic thing. So I think we all got the same issue. All right. I think we all have the same issue. Now let me try to pull it together. Because like you said, from your education, y'all don't see a problem with it. Well, you don't see a problem with it because you understand context.
I understand the historical context. It had nothing to do with race, and it had nothing to do with slavery. This was a religious-based war. Now, my thing is, the same people that are up in arms against the blackface are the same people you're going to see in church the 24th at 12 o'clock, Catholic Church doing the sign of the cross singing amen. But they got a problem with the blackface. But you are black Catholic.
Oh, no, but say it. It has to have something to do with slavery. Like that would be crazy. Listen, with all right, how you broke it down, right? Now I'm gonna go do some reading on it, but you pretty thorough in your shit. So what I'm saying is I can go off of what you're saying because
it was a slave army.
We conversate all the time, so I know you thorough with your shit.
It was a slave army, the Arab slave army, right?
Yeah, but what
came through? They collected the Africans, they put them in front. That was the African slave army, right?
Right, but see, this what I'm saying.
But at this point, Europeans, mind you, weren't in Africa, weren't conquering, didn't have no slaves. These were Arab slaves, the blackamoors. Had the the Catholics, won a religious battle. They drove out the Arabs, the Muslims. The Muslims had a slave army. Who they captured was those on the front line, which were black. At this point in time, it was not predominantly based on race. These were just the ones that they captured, and this was the army that the Arabs had. Now, the Arabs were engaging in slavery at this point in time. My point is, if you're up in arms that the Catholics had blackface, how the hell you could call yourself a Catholic and go to a Catholic church then? There's a disconnect between the reality of that history, your opposition to blackface, and the church you belong to, especially on the islands, right? A lot of the people that are in Holland protesting this stuff comes from the islands, Curacao, St. Martin, Suriname. Most of them are Catholic-based in their religion. They still go to a Catholic church, and they are opposing something that is within their church. So there's a disconnect. How? So you're going to a Catholic church. You're worshiping Catholic. You're doing the sign of the cross, Holy Mary. But you got a problem with the Catholics displaying their victory.
It's a contradiction.
That's my point. That's my point. I don't have no problem with it because I understand the historical context is not necessarily race-based. At that point in time, it wasn't. Now, if it was something to do with the day that the Dutch started selling black people, and they celebrating this day by showing off the blacks that they started to sell, that would have a whole different context. But when it comes to that blackface tradition, it is not racial based. It is religious based. And most of the people who got a problem with it are religious. This is the disconnect, and it don't make no sense. You religious, but you got a problem with that. No,
Right,
end
but
your religious basis first, and now you can have a problem with that overall. But you
no,
can't.
I think
Chef,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Chef, do you know what the difference is? It's the environment as well. You know, with your environment, from me watching from the outside, your environment's completely different from where me and said is coming from.
Right.
You know, like it's it's something maybe the Americans might need to tackle a little bit different from the way we are, because we don't have that. We don't have that. I can't really say because we do have racism over it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think it's as intense as you guys get it over there.
yeah.
So
No, we make it intense.
I
We're
was gonna say
super
that.
sensitive. I
Yeah,
think y'all sensitivity is lower.
you know why, Chef? Because we see a multitude of cultures over, especially over here,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
we've seen what they've done to everyone, and
Right.
even themselves. I think you guys haven't seen what they've done to themselves.
yeah. How
You know?
Europeans amongst Europeans behave.
Yeah.
So the context is different, and like there is racism in Holland, in England, but like the it ain't nothing like what happened or experienced in the US. So the intensity level with which we view these things from the outside is like I come to the US and I just drive around. Like I don't have the tension that you guys have. I'm there with guys in DC and they're freaking out every time they pass a cop, and I'm like, but what's wrong with all you? Like, why are you freaking out like this? Because in the Netherlands, I won't get that type of because I'm black from a cop. So it doesn't register with me like that.
I'm really trying to. This is good. I mean, because we rarely ever hear the black perspective in other places. Like the chat is having a hard time dealing with what y'all saying.
I
I can
can
Right,
imagine, Chef.
because
I can
we're
imagine.
so super sensitive.
Let me
Yeah.
explain you something. I got multiple baby mamas and half of them white, and it's not a thing. It's not a thing. We don't. I'm
Mhm.
pro-black. My baby mama white next to me, and have no problem with me being pro-black. And like, though it's a non-issue. Like it's a non-issue. Like, in Europe, black and white is like that's nobody lifts their head up and watching nothing like that.
Black,
And
black,
I'm
black,
walking in
Chinese,
Miami
Indian.
with one of my baby mamas, and everybody watching us like it's something out of this world. Like, huh? What? What a big deal! Like what? It just doesn't. No,
Chef.
So I heard y'all right now. Let me explain our level of sensitivity in the U.S. to stuff like that, right? Because uh you feel said that you can explain it simply as a historical event with no racial context to it.
at that time. At
Right.
that time.
But they're
Yeah.
still celebrating it now. All right. So here in the United States right now is a contingency of southern sympathizers, right? We're starting to pull down Confederate statues, right? Of Confederate heroes, their statues, stuff like that. For us, right, we feel disrespected by anything that has to do with the Confederacy. Now, it's people that's actually linked to the Confederacy. Their family, right, goes back to it. You know, their family members died and fought in the war, and they are just as American as anybody else, right? It's their history. It's a part of the U.S. history.
It's a part of the U.S. history.
Right.
Yeah.
So, from your perspective,
That's crazy.
how is it crazy? Go ahead.
It's history. Like it is what actually happened. You can't change it by pulling it down.
Right. See, that's where now pause.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, now that's where we differ. Right there. Not saying we're trying to erase the history. It's the celebration of this ignorance is that Black people, why would we, if we pay taxes the same as everybody else, right? Why should our children have to go to parks or we have to go to parks, right? That's celebrating, you know what I mean? The disrespect or the bigging up, if that's, you know what I mean? The bigging up of people that was obviously, you know, inhumane and, you know, racist. Like that shouldn't even, like our children have to go to schools that's named after slave owners. Like we pay taxes like anybody. Why should that shit be celebrated? Like why should we have to, and y'all saying it's just history. Why it belongs in the museum then? Right?
And then you're gonna tear down the museum.
No, I'm saying
celebrating it.
No, it shouldn't be in the public arena.
Do you know why, Chef? If you look over in England, we're littered with monuments of where they've won this and won that. It's just how they do it. This is part of how the society worked at that time. And now you're in 2021. I get what you lot are saying, and I can't never knock that, you know, but it's subjective to how you see it.
Yeah.
You know, some people see their life as, well, we've got 80 years to live. Why am I going to worry myself with that? You know, like
because the next 80 is going to be lived by your children. So you try to create a better world for them, so they don't have to go through. He said they dance around and put on blackface.
But you know, it's a different context from where you're in America. I get what you're saying with the monuments and that. Yeah, you can maybe say take them down. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then that's not. Then how far are you gonna go? You're gonna want to say do this and do that and do that, and it's not a problem. But then there's got to be a time where you say, you know what, we've got to get on and educate our kids and say to us, what if they come with any of that rhetoric? We know how to deal with it like they deal with it.
Now, look at it from an outsider's perspective. I come to the US with my son, and we come down south, and we walk in that park, and I go, oh, this what look here. That was one of the son of a that did so and so and so and so. It's how it's a teaching moment. You could go to the museum or you go to the park. The park is free. The museum I might have to pay. It's how you choose to engage with it. Now again, all of us come from the same slavery, I guess, but the fact that we go to the old country maybe, and these symbols are there. We see them. Pete Hang, they celebrating what they considered their heroes at that time, and these ain't monuments erected now. These things are 200 years old. They are 300-year-old monuments. It's how the people thought at that time. Taking it down now, what purpose does it serve is my question. You're creating an environment for that shit to happen again because it's not always in your face.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I'm not going.
Perspective.
I'm no. I
I
just
ain't
gave.
saying wrong or right.
No,
I
no.
ain't saying wrong or right.
I love to hear y'all perspective. I gave the perspective of how I think the African
I
American.
understand. I
Right.
understand how the
And,
African Americans
yeah.
see it, because especially and I gonna understand. And I
But if we
understand.
go to Europe, we gonna feel the same way about that shit that we feel here.
Yeah,
We gonna we'll look at y'all like, what in the fuck?
and we gonna be
like this ain't cool, bro. Like this ain't cool. So you know what I mean? And there's certain things that y'all would say about us versus that y'all probably feel is not cool that we do, right?
no,
That we take. Go ahead.
Chef, you see your country's a new country. Even you see, even the whites over there, they're not what you would class as the proper Europeans. I know you lot say they're Europeans, but that's a new set of Europeans. Like you're a new set of Africans abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? So
Yep.
that you're only 500 years. It's you've got a long way to come before you get to where we are in Europe.
facts.
And it's
Like,
not a
yeah,
disrespect.
honestly.
Okay.
It's not a
No,
disrespect. It's just that we've had more
No,
time
I'm with you.
to gauge and say, well, this is wrong and this is right. The American system is still they're very all over the place. Your identity is lost all over the place, whites and black.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And then
like,
you've got an influx of new people coming in as well. So the people who have been there for 500 years have a problem with them. And it's causing problem after problem. There's no way of, you've got to kind of say, when are we going to come and say, well, we're all people, we're living together in a multicultural society, we can't keep going back.
like for example, if I would migrate to the US, I would probably get shot by a cop really quick, because for me, he just a cop. I speak to a European cop and I just address him like nothing. They, he, you know, it's I don't know how to explain it. A
Mm-hmm.
police is a police, but there is not that underlying idea that he's out to get me. And I experienced that when I was in the US. Some cousins of mine and friends, again, we in DC, we just driving around, and they would get so tense every time we pass a cop. I would just, yep. It, and my mind doesn't work like that. Now, I'm from outside of the US, so and I see it and I'm following the media, so I understand it. And it's weird to me, because that relationship. Like, if you ever went to a football game in Holland and see how these people speak to cops, black, white, like it, shooting, like no, like there is here and there a racial issue that can pop up, but over the whole spectrum, if a cop were to discriminate me just because of my skin color. I had a cop apologize to me in the police station. We were on the bus, me and a friend of mine. We were on the bus, and we got these cards that at a certain point in time you don't pay as a student, and we were going to be over the time and we had to pay, so we decided, we're not taking the trip anymore. We're gonna wait till the next bus or whatever. So he wanted to come.
So I'm having an issue, right? And Naja Valley, I'm waiting for CK to put the link in because I know you have something good to add to the conversation. Naja Valley, give me a second. I'm trying to get CK to put the link in the chat because I'm not a moderator, so I can't put the link in the chat. And I don't even know how I do it. I tried to put it in there.
It ended up in the back chat.
Right. So I told CK to put it in there. But so I'm gonna go back to this issue, right? The Catholics on your island practice or has a celebration of
No, stop.
blackface. Go ahead.
Not on the island. Not on
in
the
Holland.
island.
In Holland.
In Holland, it happens.
Right.
Okay.
In Holland.
On Curacao, one of our sister islands, right? it happens. The black people dress up in blackface.
See, that is the sickest shit. So for you to feel like I really don't feel no type of way about it because I understand the history, but history comes with weight to it.
Good.
It's just
Again,
not history.
it is how it is taught. It is
If
how
they
it is
are
taught.
listen, if the white people or the Catholics is celebrating, you saying it's just the defeat of the Moors, right? But that defeat of the Moors, right? That's 1492, right?
There you go.
Right. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Right. We get the same history. I'm down with all of that. Okay, but that opened up the new world and it opened up the slave plantations, right? So that is a direct, and then that is a direct reason why you're on the island.
Yeah.
With your people,
Again,
and you're saying that you don't feel no type of way about that celebration. That's nuts to me.
How this conversation started with me explaining that I was completely and totally clueless to all these historical narratives. We don't get it like that. Okay?
Right.
No,
but you just did it. You put it together.
Yeah. So now look.
So you didn't see yourself. You didn't see. Right. So you don't. So you don't see yourself. A Niger Valley. That was the link. Anybody who want to come in, because I know this is a good conversation. Click the link. Come on, talk to say it fits. You know what I mean? They giving a different perspective. I know that the topic didn't change, you know what I mean, from the science, but I like this conversation anyway. So click the link, anybody want to come in, but and want to add to it. But all African Americans that come in here is going to push back on you and Fitz.
It's no pushing back because
but it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing.
I don't disagree. Again, I am becoming more and more. Look, for like, if you ask me about 8 years ago, you an African? I tell you, no, I'm from the Caribbean. What wrong with you? Me know nothing about no Africa. What wrong? Are you crazy? Now, now I can tell you, listen, I most likely come from off the West African coast, just like everybody else. My ancestors passed through the door of no return. It is the consciousness that's what I said. The Black conscious community brought that perspective to me. But at the same time, the emotional connection based on what happened or what continues to happen in the US, I didn't get that. We got to Europe, right? When I reached Europe for the first time, I realized, okay, you're Black, right? You actually Black, because there's cultural difference. On my island, Black and white, that don't exist. We all St. Martiners, we jam the same Juve morning, we eat the same rum, everybody's the same chicken leg. Culturally, there is no distinction, Black or white. Now, when we leave, that's why I say culture versus color. When we leave now, both Black and white from my island go to Europe, then we realize, okay, we different than these people. We talk different, we eat different, we got different vibe, Black and white. For example, there's Europeans that come to the island to become educators, for example. Their kids born on the island. They grow up in St. Martin. They grow up between Black people. They jamming soca music. They eating chicken leg and Johnny cake. They have a Dutch European title. When they go back to Holland, it's a culture shock, even to go to school. Most of them finish school and come back to the island because they're not from there.
Right.
You understand?
I definitely can understand it, but it's just a perspective. Like I said, we are super sensitive. We look at Pan-Africanism, right? The African American, for the most part, we were taught to look at all Black people as the same. I think that's where a lot of our confusion come in at. No matter where you at, if you Black, you basically the same. We feel like we all should have had the same struggle or be sensitive to the struggle of, our people in
and
totality, right?
and
Sure, sure.
But
and we are and we are, but
right, so that
again,
sensitivity. If I went to Harlan and I seen some motherfucking Catholics, black and white, making a celebration out of putting black people in chains, ain't no way in the world. You know what I mean? I ain't no more.
no,
I ain't
they
had
don't.
nothing to do with the Moors.
And
I
again,
don't
so
got nothing to do with
you,
Harlan.
you
It's just black people being in chains.
it's not in change. They ain't in change. What it is, it's like they like in gesture. And though the ones in blackface are the ones actually handing out the candy to the kids and having
Oh,
the
it's
fun.
real crazy. This shit.
You understand?
Chef, you know what it is, Chef? Chef,
Go ahead, Fitz.
it's hard to explain, but me personally, from looking in on you guys, look, it looks weird from you guys looking out, but you guys have so enclosed yourself in such a bubble over there, and it's kind of against you, against everyone.
They did
Yes.
that to us.
Chef,
We didn't
make
do
a
this
point.
to ourselves.
Chef, let me
What
make
the
a
hell?
point. I live on a predominantly black island, right? You know,
Uh-huh.
black Americans pull the race card with black people in the Caribbean.
Yeah. So hold on. All right. Go ahead, Fitz.
Yeah, no. So it's kind of like it's weird for us because you're still in a time shift. You see all of the stuff that you are fighting for now, yeah. And I'm not saying it's non-existent, but that's not now. It's like you need to come into reality fast and see how the world works instead of just kind of just. I'm not even saying just sitting there, just kind of just seeing how the world works and how you want to change things. You've got to be astute. You can't just, it's not loud and shouting it and saying, okay, I'm going to get sensitive over everything. You know, it's kind of
I definitely agree with that. Go ahead.
You got to get into the system. This is why we're so comfortable over it, and we can't be subjective like that no more. That's why these things, these celebrations and stuff, don't hurt us no more, because we've got into the system and we've changed what needs to be changed.
Yeah.
You can't change something what's in someone's head. The racism in someone's brain, you can't change that. You know, that's just that's just going to be. You're going to have to gradually try and change society. But for you guys now, it's just like you've put the block up. We don't want to get involved. We don't want nothing. We just want this. It's like you want a state within a state. It's like you don't want to you don't want to compromise with nobody.
No, I think that's not accurate.
I understand the level of sensitivity. I really do. But for example, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, here in the Caribbean, we all black here now. How you gonna tell me it's because I'm black? Huh? That don't make no sense. I'm black as you. If there's an issue, there's an issue, and it's not because you're black. But the black Americans will watch you in your face and say it's because I'm black. But wait a minute, what color am I?
Yeah, but all right. So hold on. All right, what's up, Niger Valley? I'm Sosa. What's up? I'm glad you on. You know what I mean? We don't catch you too much, but Niger Valley, I know you wanted to go ahead and speak on this. Go ahead, bro.
Well, I'm kind of still trying to feel out the conversation. So y'all go ahead for a minute or two, and then I'll hop in when need be.
Oh, okay. What's up, Sosa?
Ain't much, man. I had to balance it out, man. They had 2 UK pseudo killers versus one US pseudo killer.
Yeah, they were trying to beat me up.
No.
I'm just clowning.
One UK, one island boy. I still an island boy. Studied in Europe. I lived there 10 years. But I'm on the islands again. I ain't done with the cold neither in the US, not in Europe. I an island boy. I want sun all year round. Let me put it to you plain and simple.
Hey, but listen, I was listening to the bill though, but it was actually a good bill. I was kind of enjoying it back and forth. But I think too, right, when we was talking about as far as monuments and then how we deal with it over here, you know, you got to also look at the context of how slavery ended over there, right? and how long it ended before it ended in the Americas. And there was a war over here to end the slavery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a totally different context versus it being abolished over there. And then especially considering, some of our greats would flee to Europe for safe, to be safe from the type of abuse that was going on over here. So that lets you know the type of practices that were going on over here were far more monstrous than that was going on in the UK at the time.
Yeah.
And then so that type of that has like an epigenetic effect on a population at whole. You know what I'm saying? So the type of thing that we went through here, our remembrance would make us a little more sensitive than Black.
Understood. And that's why I keep saying I try to put myself in the shoes of especially Black Americans, because when I look at how the police issues, for example, it boggles my mind that shit actually happens. Like, like you get shot down because you're Black? Like, what? How? No, what? Like, what? It's crazy. And again, my mind doesn't work like that. That even when I'm in the US, I don't have that sensitivity. Maybe I should, right? But it's just not in me, because I've never dealt with real racial issues like that. I've been confronted once where the bus driver said 2 Black guys, they sent 6 cops, and trust me, the bus driver, the bus company paid up. The police apologized for his handling of the situation to me in the police station. Like, that was totally, that wasn't going to be accepted by Europeans.
Cedric,
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed from looking on, I've got police friends over here, guys who I went to school with. We grew up together. One of them even arrested me. So, I know what a policeman is. There's another man like me. He puts on a uniform. In fact, you got to kind of give them some kind of courage to put on a uniform, knowing that they're going out there and putting their life on the line. So when I look at America, and I'm never trying to, I'm not trying to point no fingers or nothing. But then when you look at what we do to ourselves out there, and like we can say, all right, we can say that it might be a system that has been passed down and it's not our fault. But now we're 50 years deep into gang violence and drugs and all of that. We have no excuses now. We really have excuses to say, well, we can kill each other. So when a policeman can see the brutality that they do to themselves, and he's got to go home to his kids. He's putting on a uniform to protect. I'm never condoning them shooting anyone. But you've got to be neutral in this and see, well, they're frightened as well. Maybe some of them,
they shouldn't be police.
Exactly. They shouldn't be police.
They shouldn't be if you scared, say you scared and get another job.
I'm not saying scared. I won't say scared.
Fear, you shouldn't be scared and then given, hold on. You shouldn't have so much fear, right? And then given a gun and then set out into another community. That's fucking wrong, yo.
No, all right, chef. I'm not saying scared. All right, let me try and be a
because white people ain't scared of us here. Take that part out. That's what they get off. White people ain't never been scared of niggas. Right, now that's another way for them to victimize our asses. But
chef, I'm not saying scared. I'm saying skeptical then. Because you don't know if you're going to pull over a man and he shoots you 6 times. He could be as normal, as sensible, as normal looking.
Don't pull him over then.
No, but
the thing about it is,
if I'm that skeptical where I might shoot a motherfucker that's unarmed, then I might shouldn't pull your over.
All right, chef.
The thing about it is, though, it is no epidemic of Black people going around killing police. Right. This is happening to us. So if anybody should be scared, we should be the ones nervous walking down the street every day.
No, this is what I'm saying. Sensitive conversation. I'm trying to be more neutral in it. I'm trying to say to you, look at it from both sides.
No, we can't do that.
And with the gang violence shit, I mean, you as a human being are gonna do crime in the places where you live and where you're most comfortable. So it's just inevitable. White people do crimes in their neighborhood too. It might not be violent crimes, it might be blue collar crimes, but they do the same shit too.
Do you know what blows my mind? All right, let me say this to you. What blows my mind is that a celebrity, a rap star, many rap stars can be shot black by another black man. You don't hear them things happening over here.
Cause y'all on Curry, y'all got knife crime over there.
Y'all a whole different culture.
You don't hear of celebrities getting killed.
But don't y'all stab each other up? Don't y'all got a rash of stabbings and knife? They call it knife crime.
There's a lot of that's local. That's local amongst the local. And you know what, Jeff? I won't even be. I'm not even going to say it's you, but we are being influenced in a sense. They want to be, yeah. They pick on area. You know, I'll be real with you. My son got shot. When was it? 2 weeks ago, Chef.
Yeah, definitely true.
We got Crips. We got Crips and Bloods on this little island.
Do you know why he got shot, Chef?
Why your son got shot?
Because he was in the wrong area and they don't know him. Another black man.
So you saying that's the American blacks influencing y'all to
it's the music culture. When I was young, Chef, I was into it. You understand?
So you're saying that there's no gangs that do the same thing in the UK? Because I've seen movies and shit like giving.
I like Top Boy now. What about Top Boy?
I'm not saying
exactly.
I'm trying to show you that there's no excuses. Over here, we have many choices, and now they're picking up this. And in America, you have many choices. It's not to say that you have to do that. Even if
it's an illusion of many choices. A lot of us are in poverty that is not as easy as, hey, just get up and go find a job. It's not that easy.
That's not the African American culture. That might be the most, but that's in every culture in America. Every.
It's in every culture in America, but I think it's much more heavy in African American culture in America.
Yeah, there's more people than there are choices.
It's way more poverty. It's way more blacks in poverty-stricken areas than I would say any other race or group of people.
Yeah, but I do agree. But that's not to say that we don't have, like, some people don't make incorrect.
Yeah, definitely. Some people
that's not to negate that. Yeah, that's not to negate that fact.
I gonna make this point without trying to be controversial, because somebody losing their life is always a no-no. The young man that got shot, who was being arrested and decided he wasn't getting arrested today. And in fact, the one that the young guy a couple of weeks ago.
And the female cop thought she was shooting.
Yeah, okay. First of all, cops learn to shoot in groupings of three. Pop, pop, pop. Right? She shot once. Right? So right there, I'm thinking for what that was what you do with a taser. That's just one pull. My question is, where in your mind? How? What? You're doing what? You're getting cuffed and you decide that what? How? And we don't address that behavior. We group it all together in one big lump, right? And then the next young man gonna feel he justified in doing that exact same behavior. Because we're not talking about that behavior that the youth man do there. That's a no-no across the board. Whether the cops are black, whether the cops are white, you're being arrested, you just hold it down. You reach to the station, you call your mom and your pops, and then you let things happen from there. Where in the world is it okay while being arrested to decide you're going to fight the cop?
See, this is the issue, right? The issue is, if you are not from these areas, right? It's hard for you to understand.
Chef.
That's the only thing I can say, because you're trying to look at it rationally. Like where I'm from, I'm not going to just run away from the police.
Let me explain something.
Let me tell all you. I just run from the police nightly and daily. I just run from the police.
Most black people are going to run from the police.
Listen, man. I just run from the police. I had to run from them. It's a curfew going on right now. You understand?
But so I don't know. Backside to stay inside.
Cedric,
you got curfew. Your backside to stay inside.
Let us speak. Let us speak so we can hear clearly. We say, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. I say things must be nice down in Aruba or wherever it is you're from, man. But
St. Martin.
Globally, St. Martin must be nice and just a tourist destination. Because globally, the whole are we under pressure from the Babylon system, brother.
Yeah.
Dude,
Babylon. We gonna run from the police.
Listen, we got curfew same way, right?
Hold on, from a little child, we had a gang. Hey, say, hold on, check it out. We learned to run from the police as little kids, right? We used to get practice from running from the police. We would see a police car pulling up, right? We ain't even had to be doing nothing. And we'd just take off running just to have them chase us, right? So we learned early, right, how to run from the police. You just don't allow yourself to get locked up. Like, we're not slaves. Like, you're just not going to lock me up. The dude, they had the wrong warrant for him. Yo, do you know what it's like to go to jail in one of these cities? You're in more danger going to jail.
You should have grew up with a father like mine and try that nonsense, see what happened to your ass.
Man, we've been running from the white folks since the plantation.
Boy, let me tell all you something. The Americans too. When you start to run from the black police faster than the white police, you know. Because the black police and them want to deal with your ass, lad. You understand?
But wait,
I'm telling you, I run from them tonight.
But why you end up running because you know it got curfew? What you doing out on the road? Just stay backside home, no man.
No, boy, we won't go outside, so we can't even go outside.
Nobody say curfew means you can't go outside. Especially in the Caribbean, everybody got a yard. But what curfew means, don't go down the road. Don't be congregating 50 miles from your house to end up having to run because they got to run out.
But that's crazy, though. We should be able to go wherever we
was told we was free. What?
I work in public health. I work in public health, and we're talking about the Rona. The curfew's in place. Are you running the road? I still gonna send the police for you. This is a public health issue. It ain't got nothing to do with your freedom. It's a public health issue. That's the whole point at this point in time. So now there's a curfew in place. You want to defy the curfew and get upset and run from the police. The consequences is for you then. You can't argue
it shouldn't
with nobody.
The consequence shouldn't be death though.
I ain't saying so.
So there's no justification. Not saying that the police don't supposed to do their job, right? Not saying that at all. We pay taxes. We think police supposed to do their job. But to kill us for trying to run from, that's crazy as hell. and for anybody to act like the police have a leg to stand on, right? Yeah, that you can look at it from both sides. How could you look at that from? How could you look at it from the other side?
Okay.
The other side is completely evil.
Wait. I gotta ask a question. A simple question. The police supposed to do their job, right? Which is, and your obligation is to learn to run.
And their job is to catch me, goddamn.
Right, not to kill me.
Right.
I ain't say kill you, but a killing, you might end up dying.
How is that even something that you could say?
Because, listen, I ain't gonna stand up. First of all, I ain't running. I don't run. I ain't know nothing about that. I never run from nothing, never in my life. I'm gonna stand up right here. I'm gonna deal with the consequences of my action. I ain't getting shot.
Oh, hell no.
But guess what?
I'm breaking crime, I'm not going to jail.
The consequences of your action
Well,
If you don't mind, it still may end up in death.
I grew up in the hood, but my mom's and my dad was worse than any cop. Okay, if I ever got arrested, I would ask them to keep me in the police station because my mom and my dad would kill me, right? And I come out of the hood. Five kids, all of us finished college. Out of the dead middle of the hood, all of us finished college because my father
so you feel as
would have
though,
killed me.
okay, so now we getting somewhere. You feel as though it's a parental issue.
Listen,
more than
if you more scared of your parents,
racist, hold on, more than racist America, you feel as though it's a parental issue. Y'all really don't understand how racism works.
Maybe not, because the cops in my area, they look just like me predominantly. They got white cops, but most of the cops look like me. Again, if I was to get arrested for stealing a sweet, I would beg the cops to keep me in jail because my father would put me in the goddamn
y'all think
grave.
our parents don't discipline us? You think you think our parents don't know how to what you call it, beat a child for doing something? No, because the way y'all say it, you acting like your parents were somehow better. No, they in a different system.
No,
that's a different system.
I'm saying I would be more scared of my parents than the cops. I get arrested, I telling the cop, don't let me out. Please keep me in here.
A lot of us are scared of our parents, but our parents understand that we are under the gun, that they out here hunting to lock us up. They make quotas by locking us up. Half the time, listen, to lock a child up for some of the stuff that we get locked up for is ridiculous. You should, if you catch a child doing something that they don't supposed to do, right? Most sensible places are take the child to their parent instead of locking them up. So you never did childish things, like things that children do automatically. You never did that.
Like what? Like what?
I don't know. What's some things that children do in the Caribbean that is devilish, or just is another word for it.
Devilish, boss.
Just adolescent. Just to be adolescent comes with chastisement from the police. But you shouldn't lock the kids up for it. That's what I'm saying.
And I can't speak because maybe when I speak, it's just anecdotal, right? Because then it's just me speaking. However, I was in Europe. Let me explain you how scared I was of my dad. I'm in Europe. My father in the Caribbean. A fella bring a pound of weed, put on my table and tell me sell this shit. You know what I tell him? Partner, move with that. My father catch me with that, he gonna kill me.
Yeah, but see, that's all like nobody is saying that our parents don't.
For Cedric.
Oh man,
I was on the other side of the wall. I was so scared of my dad that I told him take it off the table. I didn't even touch it. I tell him my father catch me with that, he gonna kill me. I knew what I went there to do. I finished my degree. I finished, stayed my 2 years, and I come back home. I smoked my first joint when I was 26. A grown ass man because I was scared my father gonna kill me.
All right, let the sister speak. Let the sister speak. Go ahead, sis.
Oh, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand how this conversation can be had about what goes on in the U.S. without taking into consideration that our Constitution still permits slavery, and that when slavery ended back in after the Civil War, those slave catchers eventually turned into the police. So when you talk about, well, how could the police do this to a kid? And then you look at the prison population in the United States, which is larger than any prison population in the world, then you take into consideration also that this is free labor, what they was getting during slavery, then you would understand. And then you see that the courts cooperate with this system. So when you talk about what your dad said, that's irrelevant to what the law says. The law says lock niggas up because it's still slavery. And this is how we get this free labor that we were getting during the times of slavery. When you look at the prison population, you're going to see that most of the prison population is Black men. And then you wonder why we have stuff like stop and frisk, and you have quotas, and these quotas, they tell the police to go and attack black and brown people. So this is a whole thing that you take it out of consideration. I mean, this guy spent like damn near 50 minutes talking about what his parents said. What your parents said is irrelevant in the United States. Taking down the statues means nothing. I've never seen nobody, white or Black, congregating around these statues and celebrating these people. They celebrate the Constitution, and the Constitution still allows slavery. This is represented in the prison system when you look at this. So when you're trying to compare your island that's predominantly Black to a country where Black people are only 13% of the population, but they are damn near like 90% of the prison population giving out free labor. And then you take into consideration, we have redlining and all these other things that stop Black people from accumulating generational wealth and passing it down. Then you can understand the system that is going on. It's not about, oh, I'm scared of the police. At the end of the day, if you're Black in the United States, you should be scared of the police because the Constitution still allows slavery. The slavery that they allow is locking up Black people and giving them unfair sentences dependent on the color of their skin. A white man and a Black man can go to jail for the same crime, and that Black man gonna get damn near 50 or 70% longer prison sentence because he is Black. Y'all don't take that into consideration. I mean, I'm happy y'all got dependents on y'all island, but I mean, keep it real. Y'all got dependents on y'all island because y'all was the majority of the population.
Yes, ma'am. And that's why I prefaced what I was saying by saying it's anecdotal and it doesn't represent the whole. I was just speaking from an individual perspective. And that's why I said I prefaced it that it's anecdotal. So it doesn't really count within the whole context of the conversation because it's just one person's perspective. So I prefaced that. So I'm hearing you, I'm not disagreeing, but I can only, in this context, could only speak for myself. Like I would never run from the cops, regardless of the environment. So I understand.
Can I say something? I just came in.
I understand everything, but it's just anecdotal.
When our laws reflect what is happening to us in America as Black people. Our laws reflect this. It's not about parenting.
Hold on,
can I make a comment?
Hey, hold on, Truth. I let a whole bunch of people in, just to be fair. If you want to say something, just butt in and you'll be next. Go ahead, Truth.
All right. So let me tell the brother a story. Because when he say never run from the police, it doesn't make sense. Nah, you crazy. I'm gonna tell you a real story that happened to me. This is a first person story. All right.
Okay.
So, work, minding my business, walking home from work. I stop at the 7-Eleven that's like literally right down the street from my house. I go on the 7-Eleven, buy a pack of cigarettes, and I'm getting ready to come out. Mind you, when I'm getting ready to come out, it is a group of dudes in the parking lot, which is normal for my neighborhood. So the police pulls up and jumps out the car. Mind you, this is at the same time I'm leaving out the store. So I'm walking down the street, minding my business. Everybody else that was in the parking lot ran. I didn't run because I said, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why do I have to run? So I'll get almost across the street. I hear the police yelling, come here, get back over here, get back over here. So my mistake was looking back. I should have never looked back. When I looked back and we made eye contact, that's when he got more forceful and told me come back over here. Me still being an idiot, thinking I didn't do nothing wrong, I walked back over there. When I walked back over there, this man instantly pulls his gun on me, tells me get on the ground. I sit on my butt, right? So I put my hands up and sit on my butt like, whoa, what's going on? I ain't do nothing. So he tells me to turn on my stomach. I turn on my stomach. As soon as I turn on my stomach, he kicks me in my ass, right? So mind you, it's two other dudes that he had already in the parking lot that he also had lying on the ground. He goes over to them and starts trying to put handcuffs on them. Mind you, one of them has a big, thick cast on his hand. And he starts twisting the cast and really trying to fuck his hand up because he knew it was hurt, trying to put handcuffs on. So his partners, not his partners, but other officers come pull up, right? And they tell me get off the ground. So I get off the ground and the officer asks me, he said, so what's going on? What did you do? I said, I don't know. He's just being an asshole. As soon as I said that, the officer flew over. Oh, he's going to jail. So me and the officers both at the same time said, for what? And the cop's going to say, oh, he was failing to obey before you got here. And so he locked me up, right? So I go to court. I get, mind you, it was a $5,000 bail for failing to obey and disorderly conduct. That's what he charged me with. And it was a $5,000 bail I had to put up to get out, go to court. I tell the judge exactly the story I just told you, the truth. The officer gets on the stand and tells the judge that he had to jump kick me in my chest and forcibly force me to the ground. And that's when he pulled his gun and all that extra bullshit. He lied to the judge. You know what the judge said? I'd rather believe my officer than believe you. I did 60 days in jail for walking home from work. So when you say don't run from the police, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. If you can get the fuck out of there, get the fuck out of there because they be on a bullshit. And then you want to
run from no police, man.
Hold on, let me finish this. You want to know what's even worse? You want to know what's even worse? When I come home, right? I come home and I'm on probation. And I go to probation officer. One of the officers that was on the scene was there. He asked me what happened that night. I told him I did 60 days in jail. He gonna say, oh, you wasn't supposed to go to jail for that. We knew that was a fake arrest. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there like, why the fuck ain't you say something? Why ain't you show up in court?
You had a lawyer, yo? You had a lawyer?
No, I ain't had no lawyer because I thought it was bullshit. I didn't do nothing.
Right, it was a failure to, you know what I mean, resisting arrest. Like, I ain't paying for no lawyer, but I'm thinking, you know what I mean, that shit ain't going.
Nah, come on, Chef, man. Let's not lie to the people. Yo,
I want to ask you a question
lawyer,
about that story. Did they lessen the charge? Did they charge you something lower?
No, they gave me failing to obey and disorderly conduct. I did 60 days in jail.
Because that's another way that they get us in these these little towns that can't generate money for their city. They'll haul you in jail or in court for the slightest little thing and fine you. They know they can't charge you with what they charging you with. So they'll lessen the charge, put you on probation, and have you paying fees to support the city in its trumped up charges. We got to realize that these are still slave catchers. They are not police in essence. They are still slave catchers, and their objective is to keep slavery going as it says in the Constitution. Our Constitution still allows for slavery.
Okay.
You have to keep
What's
that
up,
in
Jackie? What's up, Jackie?
What's up, brother Unc?
How y'all doing, man?
Hey, Unc, I thought you were still over there beating up them pseudos.
Yeah, I give up, man. They beat me, man.
Brother Unc, you can hear me good, Unc?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to y'all. Go ahead.
Here we're going on, Unc. Remember, I come on your platform the other day and ask you about ivermectin, and I say it's a dog medicine what they're using to treat COVID patients here in Jamaica and thing, right? Mm-hmm. Now here we're saying, right now, if you check the headlines, they're advising ivermectin for India for them to use to deal with the outbreak now because they dread. You understand? The ivermectin, the dog medicine, the veterinary use. You understand? It's a dread anti-inflammatory. It have many properties, but it is useful in the clinical reduction of the COVID. You know.
I get it, yo. They in India, yo. They about. I mean, they need to try any damn thing at this point. Shit, you know what I mean? They did too much.
When they got to start giving out dog medicine.
You ain't lying.
Right now in my country,
down
in my country here, we are the highest
rate. You know they got slick though. You know, India is the #1 producers of vaccines, right?
Right.
And what they did was they didn't follow the signs. They gave some of their shit away. He was like, "Oh, we good. Yeah, they did that slick shit, and look where they at."
Look,
developing a nasal
if I go to
right
the
now,
doctors, if
right
I
now,
go
my
to the
country are the
hold
highest.
on,
My
go
country
ahead.
are the highest. Sorry, my brother.
Yeah,
But
check it out.
I'm just trying to show you that my country are the highest rate of COVID right now, the highest infection rate in the whole world.
Right. So listen, if I go to the doctors and they send a vet, and
Let me hear you.
I know shit fucked up.
Nah, but here what's going on. No,
if they send the veterinary,
Motherfucking apocalypse.
Yo, you stupid.
Chef,
What
the
is this, Mad
biological
Max?
system of the animal and them very similar to yours. So many things it could extrapolate from veterinary medicine into normal human medicine.
If the veterinarian
man,
come in the
fuck that.
emergency room and they say, yo, that vet gonna work on you. I know shit fucked up. Like if everybody else getting regular human medicine and they say, yo, we gonna give you the Doug medicine, I don't want that shit.
But
like,
what's going
crazy.
on right now? If you reach any position and they're telling you, they say, hey, draw for the ivermectin and give me, tell them. You know what I'm saying?
So you're gonna take the ivermectin versus the Moderna.
But I feel I wouldn't know because here what's going on. I don't get the COVID already, so I had the antibodies. So all I want again is a little. If the second strain, the Brazilian or one of them come, I would just look for the ivermectin and some oxygen tank and thing and go treat my own self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, India. I hope India get their shit together. That's crazy.
Did y'all see when they the airlines, the customs shut down them? They was bringing cow cakes, the shit cakes. Talking about they was eating it to beat the COVID. No bullshit.
The Indians
customs had to stop them from coming over here with mounds of shit.
Yeah, rolling in it from head to toe, and their own medical and their own CDC people are advising them, listen, you're either gonna promote another jump in another disease, but there's no way that this nonsense is gonna help. And they be doing their exercises and their yoga and their whatnot fully from head to toe in cow dung.
Yo, I got
from
a real
head to toe in cow dung.
to break that shit down too about vaccines. It's like you got to put it in the text of two boxes, right? Your immune system is the heavyweight champion, right? Now you got the number one contender that just came around. He knocking everybody out, right? Now your immune system or the champion, he can lift all the weights he wants. You see what I'm saying? That's taking all the herbs and taking all the supplements just to get strong. But a smart boxer, right? Because you know this other competitor that just came around got a little bit of skill to him. So the smart boxer going to get some training, right? He going to go get him a trainer and actually learn the moves first. You see what I'm saying? Before he get in the ring with him. That's kind of like what the vaccine does. It trains your immune system to be prepared to fight the virus. You see what I'm saying?
Love that analogy. Love that analogy. I'm going to use that as a fighter. I understand it. I'm going to use it. I love that analogy.
But as far as I was understanding, truth, my brother, truth. As far as I was understanding, the technology of this vaccine, it working in a different method than all previous vaccines. So all previous vaccines work like how you say just now. But this vaccine working by giving your cells a instruction in a DNA. So it programming your cell.
It doesn't give it a DNA. It just gives it a message. It uses the RNA to send a message to the cell. But it still does pretty much the same
DNA,
thing as the vaccines.
genetic.
It just introduces the spike protein.
The spike protein.
Yeah. They introduce the spike protein to your body so your body can start producing antibodies.
But eventually, the immune system is being conditioned and trained to deal with this new enemy same way. The analogy is beautiful. Beautiful analogy. I love it. I'm going to use it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We put a copyright on it, but I'm going to use it. I love it. It's perfect. There's no better way to explain it. I love it, really. That's a good analogy.
Who else came in? There's a couple other people came in. If y'all want to speak.
What's up with it? It's Geechee Gilla, Jack, Team Osiris. What's up with it?
What's up, Geechee?
Chilling, man. I would say for all the people that be talking about some herbs and all, they can save them. Herb show didn't save the Native Americans from diseases.
Right. Smallpox took their ass out.
1, 2, 3.
But
1, 2, 3.
That's what
I
I'm saying.
think
Our ancestors were so healthy, right? But we know that viruses took out populations. You know what I mean? So what are people talking about with these herbs and eating natural? They wasn't no GMOs back then. You see what I'm saying? So what is I don't understand where people even get that analogy from, or that understanding that herbs will actually, they just don't understand their immune system. That's what it is. They don't understand how the immune system works.
no, man, you mustn't just disqualify them kind of talk, because in real life, like plants have plenty different chemicals inside of them, and certain plants, through trial and error, different cultures come to identify that they have uses, medicinal uses, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, medicinal uses, yes, and we still extract medicine from other plants. However, when it comes to vaccine, it has nothing to do with medicine. It is conditioning the body to fight virus. Now, there is no plant you could eat that can contain a piece of spike protein. No.
Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. Unless you genetically modify the plant.
No, it's in the soil. It's in the actual problem is the fertilizer. Everything that we eat has some type of chemical in it that can harm us. Everything. It's because of the fertilizer that they actually put on the fruits and the vegetables, and that's anything. Even if you say it's organic, the soil still had a certain type of fertilizer in it that actually it fed from. So it took in that chemical.
Yeah. Well,
it's really the fertilizer.
If you wanna go purely organic, then you go over to India, get some of that cow dung, save them from putting it on the skin, and then put that in the ground.
Good, man.
I just say it. People do some crazy.
So we think that we're the most pseudo. We're not.
No. We realize, I'm gonna tell you again, anywhere that you have a predominantly religious foundation, you're gonna get pseudoisms, and the more dominated your culture is by religion, the greater the pseudoism is gonna be. For example, Allah or Muhammad supposedly rose from the Dome of the Rock, right?
Yeah,
so these Palestinians gonna hold on to that and fight for their life for a Dome of the Rock, whereby Allah ain't helping them. They don't have no science. They don't have no technology. Israel is bombing the hell out of them, and they still want to hold on to the place where Muhammad raised up in the sky. I mean, apply a little bit of logic, and that whole situation falls apart. Apply a little bit of logic to India, where people are starving, but the cows can walk the street because they're sacred and they're holy. Huh?
So hold on. So you said the Palestinians are fighting because of the Dome of the Rock?
That dome, that whole two-state solution and whatnot, it is fundamentally religious based. They are not gonna give up that Dome of the Rock or wherever, because that's the place that Muhammad raised up and went in the sky like Jesus.
Right.
Now
I get that part, but
the Jews have another claim to their area too. Though,
okay, right? Good. So now there is no basis for no actual negotiation. There's no root in solving that problem. It is always going to remain a battleground because of the religious context that they give to it, which has no basis in reality.
No, I don't believe that's true.
They both believe in the same God.
No,
they don't.
You know, again, so now you got two people opposing each other over one spot based on religion. There is never gonna be a resolution to it.
No, they ain't.
Yeah, Chef, they've been fighting. They've been going the war over there for a long ass time, bro.
Yeah, but that's not the fight that we're talking. That's not this modern conflict. That's not the issue. We jumbling a previous issue or ongoing issue that Muslims and Jews been having, Muslim Christians and Jews been having in Jerusalem. We are superimposing that on this conflict. That's not that. The Jews or Israel is taking land from the Gaza Strip. That's what they fighting over.
Right.
The damn Dome of the Rock. That's look. How did we just mix that up?
Yo, Chef, it get deeper than that though. It get real deep because you got to understand that Netanyahu, I think that's his name, Netanyahu.
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, he is trying to stay in office. It's some real political shit going on over there in Israel, to where as though if he gets out of office, if he doesn't win the election, or is able to stay in office, he is going to prison because he has all type of like real fucking criminal charges that they're gonna put against him as soon as he get out of office. So he's trying to do anything to stay in office. Now, what I have seen, because I've been following this situation, what I have seen is it's kind of like the same thing Trump did with his Trump supporters. Netanyahu had a group of his supporters go into the Palestinian area, and they literally during their Ramadan feast at night, they set out tables in the street to have their feast. The Jews came running down the street and flipped over all their tables during the Ramadan. Wow. That's what caused them to throw the rocks at them the next day at the temple. A lot of people forget, and even the media ain't really been covering, but I seen the live footage. I seen it on a live video that they actually came down and flipped over the tables. And then the next day, that's when they threw the rocks at him. And then the next day after that, that's when the police ran into the mosque and started shooting up the mosque. Well, not shooting it up. They shot the tear gas and all that type of shit up in there. And that's how that shit escalated.
Man,
it escalated because it's a whole bunch of racist people, pretty much what they are. They're a group of racists that don't want Palestinians in their homeland. That's just simply what it is. It's exactly what Chef was just talking about. They taking them people land.
They was ordered years ago to stop building in the Gaza Strip.
Yep.
But they continually, push the line back and taking more land.
More and more land.
Yeah, more and more land from them. And the issue is a human issue all the way around. The U.S. and Britain is really not helping.
Nope.
Britain basically started the conflict years ago.
Yeah. Just decided gonna give them that piece of land.
Exactly. They promised both people the land. And then they sided with one group over the next. When you promise both of them the land. So
but the Palestinians were there all the time. What happened was the Zionists with end of World War II, they just up and decided that belongs to you.
Yeah, but it goes back before World War II. I think in 1918, the British had promised the Arabs their own state, and they had promised Israel, the Jews of Europe, their own state. Now this is before World War II, right? They wanted the Arabs, or the so-called Arab-speaking people, or the ethnic Arabs, to fight against the Ottomans, right? In 1918. So they basically backed the Arab army that was that lived all throughout the Levant and Turkey. They was a part of the Ottoman Empire at that time in 1918. So they backed them, right, to go against the Ottomans. And they said, if y'all fight for us, right, we promising y'all a homeland, right? Y'all
didn't do that with the Saudis too,
right? Yeah. Well, all of Arabia, right, actually rose up and fought against the Ottomans, against with the British and the French against the Ottomans. So that's how but they never gave them the land, right? They promised both of them the land. The Jews that backed them in the United States and in the UK, the United States and in Europe, they was promised something too, right? So it's crazy, but it goes all the way back to that time period, and it goes into World War II, and then when they gave them the land, and up into modern time when UN peace treaties, told the Israelis to stop taking land from the Palestinians, and every time the Palestinians blow up something in Israel, Israel's decide to take more land from them. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
I got a question, Chef, for you, because I'm not well versed in that, but I thought that after, or I'm not sure if it was after or before the 7-Day War, I thought some of that land belonged to Egypt, and Egypt gave some of that land to start.
That happened too. But the 7-Day War, the Arab world got their asses kicked. So I mean,
technology always gonna win, yo. You have the better technology, that shit is just gonna win.
That's the point I was trying to make. The technology, the science and technology over religion. And that's my point. And that's gonna always win the fight.
Yeah, they had old Russian tanks, and they didn't know how to unclog them when the sand and stuff got in it from the it was a mess. They were sitting ducks. They were sitting ducks. So
wiped out 7 days.
It was like 4 countries against one little country, and all that old Russian technology. You know what I mean?
But as far as I know, how that battle went, the Egyptians did run across the Suez Canal and take a piece of Israel and catch them by surprise. Mm-hmm. But then the Syrians were supposed to come in from the top side, but then the Syrians and them, like, they end up had some technical difficulties, or some of the Syrians, and they kind of spaz out the coordinated attack. It was a coordinated attack with, I think it was Egypt, Syria, must be Jordan, and the next one in them. Yeah. But in the starter, Egypt did make some advances. They win that battle decisively. They come across, they use some water cannons.
They didn't get the reinforcements that they needed.
Nah, they cross the canal and they set up battalions along the whole canal, and they take a piece of land 15 kilometers across and they was holding it. That's what you're seeing.
Yep. But it is what's going on in the world right now. The United States is, siding with Israel. It seemed like the president made, you know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Always been though. Yeah. It's to win a US election, you pretty much got to be pro-Israel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I mean? But all of us look at it. See, now, what you and Fitz was saying earlier, right? Now, what if we decide, wouldn't it be inhumane of African Americans right now to say, well, why the hell would the Palestinians throw rocks at the damn Israelis? Or why would they even fight? Why can't they accept the world the way it is? Basically, is how other people try to look at African Americans. Like, you're doing something wrong for actually fighting racism and oppression, for actually being uncomfortable with it, right? Like, so why we don't say the same shit to the Israelis? To the Palestinians, because that was seen inhumane if we said that, right? What type of shit would that be?
But Chef, I never said at no point in time that it's okay to be racist or that slavery was okay. What my whole point was, again, from the beginning, the conversation about the conscious community, I said I appreciate, besides the conscious community being extremely pseudo, I appreciate the fact that it brought me to a different understanding of history because of how the Dutch European brought or taught us history in the Caribbean. So if again,
let me
if
ask
you
you this.
asked me 8 years ago if I have an African connection, I would have played no tell you no from the Caribbean.
Another point that you pulled up. Do you think that the Palestinian people that's agitating or fighting, do you think they scared of their parents? Do you think that if they throw a rock or they fight or launch a missile or something, would you say where their parents at? Like are they scared to get an ass whipping from their parent versus you wouldn't say that would be inhumane again.
We call that a false dichotomy, logical fallacy.
Go ahead.
No
Explain how.
That's a false dichotomy. You figure it out.
That's a false dichotomy. I want you to, in the same context that we were looking at.
It's not in the same context. It's a false dichotomy. That's why.
I just put it in there though. I just made it apart. But see, you don't even want to deal with it. But you see how you don't even want to deal with it?
It's a false dichotomy.
Oh, so you're not even going to attempt to deal with it?
A Palestinian, he live in a Gaza area. How is their political status with those two countries living next to each other, right? They fight.
They're not two countries. They're not two countries.
They're two people.
Two people, right?
Okay. We talking about one America, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. False dichotomy in the discussion.
How? No, it's one
you
country.
You figure it out.
No, Palestine wasn't given statehood.
Okay, wasn't given statehood.
Right.
By whom it needs to be given statehood. Those Palestinians know that they are Palestinians and that's their country for forever and ever. They know when they were invaded. They're fighting. Israel, what? Europeans got on boats. Europeans, blue hair, blonde hair Europeans from the Jordan in Amsterdam got on boats at the end of World War II and they went there and just set up shop.
No, they were setting up shop before World War II.
By force.
No, they were setting up shop before World War II.
All right. You see what they were doing? Setting up shop in a place.
But they was welcomed in though. They were welcomed in.
Chef, don't move the goalpost.
No, I'm just being historically accurate.
I'm explaining you why it's a false dichotomy right there.
Go ahead.
That whole situation that they're taking place is not equal to a cop.
I didn't say it was equal.
A neighborhood. So now that's why it's a false dichotomy.
How? It doesn't have to be equal to show semblance.
You equating apples and pears, broad fruit, yes, but not the same thing. That's why it's a false dichotomy. You asking me about a Palestinian throwing a rock at a Jew
right.
bombing
and a black person running from the police.
Bombing his home.
Where their parents at?
Their parents right there on the front line with them throwing rocks too.
So since my father ain't out there running from the police with me, he wrong?
You keep you.
No, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
But it's a false dichotomy. You want me to go in? I can't. I can't go in. It's a false dichotomy. Well, what I'm saying, Mike, and I preface what I was saying that it's anecdotal. I'm not gonna run from the cops because I ain't gonna be throwing. I just first of all, after a certain hour, I was home. That 6 o'clock was my cutoff time till I was about 16 years old. And after that, I studied and I ain't got no time to be on the road after them hours. I had work to do. I like I told you, maybe I'm bougie. I had a clear-cut path. All my kids, my oldest 3 already in Europe studying, grew up in the same neighborhood that I grew up in, exposed to the same elements. Trap music, weed, carjacking, bike riding, all of that, all those elements there. However, my kids aren't exposed to it because I put them on a different mission. Just like my dad put me on a different mission. So at a certain point, regardless of your environment, what you about. I raised in the hood. I from St. Peter's, the hood. I ain't raised in no rich neighborhood, nothing like that. I from the hood.
Well, we are from the hood, basically here because of redlining.
Regardless of the reason, again.
Everybody that have you been to America? Have you been to Baltimore?
Yeah. No, DC.
I've been to Florida.
You haven't been to Baltimore? My thing is, I just came from Mexico, right? And they was trying to say where I went to Puerto Vallarta, right? They was trying to say that was the hood. I was looking around like, no, you motherfuckers don't know what a hood is. Like dead ass. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Like these people be thinking because they live in a
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, man. I already know Baltimore and St. Louis, one of them cities. We've been one of the most dangerous cities in the world for the last 50 years, man.
And you got to really understand that people that's not from there, they really don't understand what a real hood is, because they might live in poverty, yes. They might even have worse poverty, but their people, for some reason, are not doing the things that people in our country are doing. They're not living that type of lifestyle. Like in Mexico, all these people were peaceful. They were all poor, most of them anyway. They all try to sell you something. You see what I'm saying? Everybody down there got to hustle. You feel me?
You making my point.
Yeah, where I'm from, man, they 12, 11 years old, walking around with assault rifles and shit, man. For real.
Where are you from? Somewhere in Chicago?
Oh no, I'm from St. Louis.
What we need to do is figure out why that is. Why? Because it's not. I've seen it myself. It's not really pop. Maybe because the cartels down there, the cartel really employs them people and keep order in those communities also. So maybe that is the reason why it's less crime. You know what I mean? But I don't know. They in poverty too, but they got way less crime than we do.
Really?
The only places in Mexico that's really dangerous is around the border, where all the drugs and shit is coming in.
In my hood, we got a simple rule. Whatever shit you're gonna do outside of the hood. You ain't robbing, you ain't stealing, you ain't doing nothing in the hood. You wanna get roll on? In the hood,
but
it's the safest place.
Majority of the population where you at. That's not true here.
So in the neighborhood that is predominantly Black, you're not the majority.
We're not the majority in it. We might be the majority in the. First of all, I can't make this make sense to you without first trying to explain redlining. So you thinking back when after we thought we was free, because we were never free. Slavery still exists in the Constitution, as I mentioned earlier. Back when we thought we was free, and we decided, okay, the only way to pass on generational wealth is through land owning, because this is what the slave owners did. They own land. So when we started to apply for these government loans that were helping white people get houses and establish the suburbs in America, they had all types of clauses in these loans where if you was white, you couldn't sell your property to a Black person and stuff like that. And they drew these red lines around certain neighborhoods that were impoverished. And they told Black people that these are the only places that you can own land. So they kept us in certain areas that were basically land dumps, where they had all the chemicals that from the plants and stuff like that. So we would stay in, and they gave us bad loans too, on top of that. So you would work your ass off, and at the end of 40 years, you still ain't have a house to pass on to your, your siblings or your children, because it was virtually worth nothing, because it was built on landfills and stuff like that. So, I mean, this is not by choice. This is the only thing they gave us. So we might be the majority in our neighborhood because this is where they kept us. But that don't make us the majority in the city. That don't make us majority in the state. And that don't give us the right to the same economic benefits that the white people had. So yeah, we might be the damn predominant people in the ghetto because that's where they kept us, and they made it so.
I gotta keep it honest. I gotta be honest about it. I live in Baltimore, and it's a predominantly black city. A lot of the problems that we have as a people right now in Baltimore City is self-inflicted. We doing it to ourselves.
You're delusional.
No, I'm not delusional. I know people. I know people that just don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about life. Like
brother.
The only reason why you like that in Baltimore is because they gave you drugs and said you not getting anything because you black.
Who gave us drugs?
That was the only way
did anybody? Nobody has made anybody take any drugs. People chose to take these drugs. Just like people are choosing to take these Percocets, people are choosing to take these Oxycontins, people are choosing to take these Miley's.
In the same levels
we gotta start taking accountability. We gotta be accountable for what the fuck we doing. We can't sit here and say somebody gave us, because this same shit is in the street right now, and I'm not taking it.
You sound like one of these people that talk about the bootstraps, but we ain't got no boots.
Yeah, it come like truth ministry.
I think a lot of the violent cities in the United States too has a lot to do with what's going on in the drug trade. Like Baltimore, St. Louis, and Chicago have a heroin epidemic with opiates, drugs, and all that shit going on. Fentanyl.
Everybody want to be Nino Brown.
Yeah, fentanyl and all that shit. We got a fentanyl epidemic in St. Louis as we speak.
Truth minister, I think you're thinking about it a little bit too microscopic. In the macroscopic sense, is a systemic system what will have these people having to make these things options to make economics and things. You understand?
I used to think that, bro. I used to think that. Don't get it twisted. I used to think that. I used to think exactly what you're saying.
I'm not saying no, right? But when you go down into the psychology and the wants and needs and things.
That's part of it, but a lot of it is our own personal choice. And until we accept the fact that we are making mistakes and then correct those mistakes, we are going to continue to make those mistakes. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, we have to
understand that. Look at who we glorify. Look at who we glorify. Yeah, DMX just died, and yeah, a lot of us have a lot of respect for DMX. But what did he bring to the Black community other than gangster music? And that gangster mentality. Like let's really think about who we call our heroes. We let our music stars, allow our music personalities, these people on YouTube, these motherfucking basketball stars be our fucking heroes, like they are somebody, like they really doing something. They really are doing something positive. Yeah,
nobody's doing that.
People are doing that. You know how many people glorify? I'm not talking about you personally. Don't take it personal.
I'm not taking anything personal, but if you as a parent allow, and I'm talking about every Black person, if you as a parent are allowing the heroes in your child's life to be people they see on TV, then you fell as a parent.
Sometimes your parent don't pick your hero. Your parents didn't pick your hero.
That's crazy.
Y'all put a lot on the parent. The parent don't pick, just like you. Think about you when you coming up. You had your own heroes. Right. Your parents gonna tell you who to like. You chose the person that you liked or you looked up to. You looked up to somebody. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is we as a people are looking up to the wrong people and are taking on the wrong characteristics and the wrong traits, and it's putting us in a perpetual cycle of violence and motherfucking shit that we in today.
But here I'm telling you the truth, minister, you have to put everything in context, brother, because even since long time, since times immemorial, athletes and fighters and thing was always people of reverence. But what the thing is, you can't have them as your political leaders or the people who instruct in your ideology and them kind of thing. So everything has to put in the context, you know what I mean?
But yeah, systematic racism is real, but it can't be defeated. But it got to be defeated by us making the right choices. And that's all I'm trying to say. We got to start making the right choices.
You can look, I said this earlier, you can look at the prison population in the United States, which you can see compared to the world. Nobody has as many prisoners that, especially Black men, that are in jail, as a Black man, if you're in jail, there's no way you can be a head figure or any type of role model to your family when
That's
you
not
locked up
true.
for
I've been to
jaywalking.
prison. I've been to jail. And you know how I got to where I'm at today? It was a lot of people in jail. It was a lot of people in prison that were educated, strong Black men.
Educated to what?
From the streets
educated, but
to
you in
something else.
jail.
Yeah, but what they doing down there? What they doing down there? If they're so nice, is the system at them down there.
The money that you make as a prisoner goes to help the state and those companies that contract prisoners. You're not supporting
also
no
true. I'm not
you
saying nothing about that, but what I'm saying is the people that are in prison can still make a difference.
In jail.
They can teach the people that are coming home not to do the things that got them in there. They can be an example for them. That's what I'm saying. So when you say that people in prison can't be a role model, can't be a leader, that's false. Because they definitely can.
Not you.
Not me.
Sorry, I don't mean it like that, but no. And anybody that got any common sense, they're gonna agree with me. Most of the children are not looking up to people that's in jail as role models. They don't even want to come to the jail to visit you.
You ain't
so you
from
can
no
do all
hood,
this shit in the world. You sharing that shit with prisoners. You're not sharing it with
I got kids trying to imitate people in jail right now. They wearing the red flags, they wearing the blue flags, they doing all that shit, imitating people that are locked up in prison right now.
I just tried to ask you a question. I don't know if you heard me or not, but I was trying to ask you, how long have you lived in Baltimore?
My whole life. My whole entire life.
Well, I'm from upstate New York, very, very racist city. You can see the racism in that city. I lived there for a lot of my life.
That makes sense now. It makes sense now where your point of view is coming from. You're not from a real criminal city.
Then I moved to a predominantly Black city. I now live in Atlanta, and I see the difference in the systemic racism. I see it. So, I mean, I once used to think like, you know what I mean? Who cares? They can drop all the damn drugs and guns in our neighborhood that they want to. It's
No, that's not what I'm saying, though, sis. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they're going to drop all the drugs and
get. It's the sentence you get. They
can
drop
that's not what I'm saying. You putting words in my mouth.
They don't get the same sentence as you.
That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is when people pretty much have a choice, and until we start, just like you said, they're going to keep on putting drugs and guns. Let them keep on putting guns and drugs. If we not motherfucking taking the guns or taking the drugs, it's going to be pointless, right? That's all I'm saying is we as a people, as individuals, we need to start making the right decisions. And if the
came on here earlier, he gave a story about how they got him on paper. It ain't had nothing to do with drugs. It ain't had nothing to do with guns. They gonna find a way to put you in that system because slavery never ended. And it's gonna always.
Slavery is mental now. It's not. It has never ended because it's mental. People are mentally enslaved to the system now.
No, you're constitutionally enslaved to the system.
Well, not really, because you can leave this constitution. You can go to another country, apply for a temporary residency, and go to another country and live under their constitution.
My ancestors was brought here over 400 years ago, and they worked and they gave these people the wealth that they have accumulated, and they passed down to their children.
And they fought for that constitution too, didn't they?
Why am I not entitled to that
fight for that constitution?
Why do I have to leave my country?
You don't have to leave. I'm just saying you don't have to leave, but your ancestors fought for that constitution.
You just said, well, you can leave. Why?
No, I said if you don't want to live under the United States Constitution, there's other constitutions that you can live under. That's what I said.
Why should I? My people fought in the Civil War.
Yeah, but they fought for this constitution.
Free from slavery, to have slavery exist under another name.
What I'm telling you is that your people, that your ancestors that you just was talking about, they fought for this constitution that you're talking about.
No, I said they fought to be free, and they didn't get freedom. That's what I said.
I mean, we just as free as any white man, anybody else.
Well,
I'm
if that's
saying
the
it's
case,
systems.
why the
It's
white man
systems.
don't get the same prison sentence for the same crime? If we just as free, the white man don't get the same prison system for the
Well,
he
that's
don't get
okay,
the
but they
same
both committed
treatment
the
in
crime. Like I
court.
said, it's choices. Maybe not commit the crime. And I know I'm
Maybe
sounding kind of. I'm
fairly
just being honest though.
law.
Like
You're not making
seriously.
sense.
Yeah, it's problems in the system, but you're not understanding what I'm saying. There's problems in the system, but until we start making the right choices, it will always be. All we have to do is stop doing the bullshit.
Man, it don't make a difference what choice you make. The police can pull you over and slap charges on you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
They did it to me.
Constitution,
and that's why people marching in the street. That's why I'm doing.
Why you think we fight for justice? This is not justice for you to treat me different for the same crime a white person did. That's not justice.
Yeah, but that's a bigger issue than
it's not a bigger issue. This is the issue I've been speaking about all along since I came on the show. That was my purpose.
Like I said, systemic racism is real, but we can. The only way to defend
in the Caribbean that our Constitution fairly dispenses justice when it comes to us. And now you saying, well, just don't do the crime. You cannot do the crime and you can still be on probation. I was on probation because my license plate was expired. I'm supposed to be on probation for that. I'm supposed to be paying you.
They put you on probation because your license plate was expired.
I'm supposed to be paying you $30 a month to supervise me because y'all sent the information to the wrong address. That's my fault. Now I'm paying you $30 a month for 2 years.
I don't think they put you on probation because your license was.
I don't care what you think. I'm telling you the truth. My license wasn't suspended. My registration had expired.
Yeah, your registration expired.
They spent man, let me tell you what happened. My birthday is May 24th. I was coming home from work. I work on a night shift, coming home from work. And he stopped me. Like, dude, my registration been expired for all of about 6 hours. I'm not, like I said, I'm not from here. I'm from New York State. In New York State, that shit expires at the end of the month, not on your birthday. So I admit to my ignorance, but that don't mean I need to. That don't mean I need to pay you $30 a month. That don't mean I need to pay you $30 a month and be supervised.
Yes, it do, Jackie. It means just
be
that.
Quiet.
I'm just say like this.
You know
I don't
what?
think they give probation for traffic offenses. I don't know what they do in New York, but in Maryland, they definitely don't give probation.
That was if that would have happened in the city of Atlanta, that collects actual revenue, it would never have happened. That's unfair justice.
Yeah, it might be that. But let me ask y'all this though. Most black people don't go to jail though, yo. You were saying they trying to get you in the system. Most black people aren't in the system though. We gotta keep it a buck. That's a more absorbent amount of black people in prison system than white people. We want to say that. You know what I'm saying? So we can agree to that, but the majority of black people don't get high, don't do drugs, and are not criminals. I think that's a good point. Hey, Truth.
Yeah, what's good, bro?
Hey, man, listen, man. As soon as you said we run from the police around here, man, I was thinking, I said, yo, must have been on that corner a whole lot.
Yo, but then the police will try to grab you up.
All right, so hold on, watch this. Watch this, yo. My thing wasn't on the corner all the time. We'd dip in and dip out, and I couldn't run from the police, right? Because if I ran from the police, got locked up, got knocked off, got shot, hurt, something like that, then, you know what I'm saying, I done fucked up the whole crew. The whole crew depending on me. First of all, I ain't supposed to be standing out there too long. I'm dead wrong anyway. I'm out of order, doing too much. But you know how we like to just, yo, say what's up to the boy, and you know, niggas, you know how niggas zip in and zip out. But I can't run. If I run from the police, I done fucked up the whole operation, yo. Nigga, lock me up, take me to jail, yo, my bail, I'm getting out. You know the rule, like, you know, I'm not running. Why am I not running? Lock me up. I'm not resisting arrest. I'm not talking shit. The police gonna hit you with the, well, yo, say that you the judge. I'm gonna say, yeah, you right. I ain't doing it. I'm going to jail. I'm getting bailed out. When I go to court, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have a motherfucking lawyer. I'm not doing go there without a lawyer. I'm not doing all that. Woe is
So,
me, ain't happening.
That's how you was operating when you was a youth, man?
I don't know. I'm just saying, nigga, I was raised, nigga, if you're going to do crime, nigga, have bail money.
Wasn't doing no crime. I was coming home from work, though, yo. Like, literally. I just came out the 7-Eleven.
Nigga, damn near crime being black. You ain't know that nigga in Baltimore?
I was in Baltimore County, so yeah.
Crime shit.
You just took it out of context, though. You know, you just took
context.
You check it out. If you engaged in criminal activity, right? You just, this was a long time ago. Unc ain't doing this now. He didn't got charged. All is behind them. But if you engaged in that, right? Ain't no way in the world, Unc, you gonna stand there and allow yourself to get locked up, right?
What?
No, listen. If you dirty, you're not gonna allow. Now, if you're not dirty, right? Of course, you said I'm gonna stand here because I know I ain't did nothing. I'm not it. But for the niggas you talking to out on the corner that you just pulled up to get out and shake their hand, you saying they don't pose a fucking run?
I'm saying, nigga,
like if they got a gun on them, look, if I got a gun on me, I'm supposed to stand there and allow myself to get locked up and get you.
No.
What are they locking you up for? Probably loitering, and you can fight that. Look, I was speaking to my cousin. You know what I mean? You can make up any excuse for a loitering charge, right? But that's basically the extent of your charge from you being out there. Because you running the operation, you ain't got nothing more on you, but your man got the gun on him that you speaking to. Your other man holding work on him. You feel me? So you out there in the mix with all that. So you might not run, but you can't say that them other dudes don't pose a run.
Yeah, no shop like that. That ain't how it went. Then nigga, you better not be holding that heat. Nigga, you better have that shit close by. Nigga, you better not be standing with no pills. You get the money, then you hit, fire in the hole, nigga. 20 people hit the hole, hit him. Everybody leave. I don't know.
If it's hold on. If it's stashed, then y'all better get out of there. Because they can lock all y'all up for that.
We not stashing.
They can lock all that, even if it's not on you.
Yeah, we ain't play that game like that, yo. We had houses, nigga, and we rotated houses, nigga. You know how it went, yo. We wasn't doing that, though.
Yeah, but they don't even do that in Baltimore no more. They keep all that shit on them, and I don't know how they do it. The police is sitting right there.
Who is that, though, dog? Like, who does that? Who else like that? But you're right, though. Hey, Chef, hold on. I'm just saying, yo, we just, you know what I'm saying? I actually sat down and studied the game and implemented protocols. Like, nigga, we wasn't taking no dollar bills because it take too long to fucking count. Nigga, you either got your 20 or you getting the fuck out the line, and them hoppers was beating niggas up for bringing dollars. All right? So we hit in the hole. The nigga with the gun is standing out there. We hit in the hole. You hit 20 people, that's it. Then the gun go away, everything go away. And you got niggas on the block you paying, you know what I'm saying? And when the coast is clear, yo, we hitting again. You know how it work, yo, when you really got operations. So niggas wasn't getting locked up on my watch. I don't know. None of that shit was happening. Wasn't getting robbed because all the stick-up men was there. You stick-up men, the only nigga gonna rob you. But if all the stick-up men out there having fun, talking shit, ain't my fault. You just gotta figure it out. But anyway, I'm never running. I'm not coming to work and running from the police.
Hold on. What age was this though? So you never ran from the police?
It's different now. So I'm just saying, I don't know about now. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if I'm coming from work, I'm still not running from the bus. Even worse. Why am I going to talk to the police, get scuffled up? Come on, dude. Like, I'm not doing none of that. Nigga, lock me up. I'm still going to come home. But if I rustle with you and you shoot me by mistake or on purpose, then my job is to always get home to my family, yo. I'm not arguing with no dumbass police, catch him on a bad day. He act like he pulling out a taser and shit. I'm not doing none of that shit.
That's your 50-year-old brain talking, yo.
Yeah.
But guys,
yo, we from the same hood, yo. That's your 50-year-old brain. I promise you, yo.
No, man, the reason why you're running is because they want to reach
Hold on, man. Hey, Chef, go ask them niggas. I had a 50-year-old brain, nigga, when I was 25 in that corner, yo. I just wasn't doing it that way. We just thought about it better, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't explain. We just thought about it better. And the thought was, I want to get home to my family. I'm not running from the police. Yeah, the young niggas, they do it all. You right. Some of them they be running. I'm like, why y'all pants? First, I didn't understand why your pants hanging down and you know you want to run. Because it stops you from running. So I never understood none of that shit. At no age. Never was better than niggas, but we just thought about this shit.
I'm not from the school you just stand there and get locked up.
I know, y'all was
that's not even
That's not even
that's not even an option. If you stand there and get locked up, you a dummy to us.
Yeah.
You had time to get out of there. If you had time to get out of there, you should have got out of there, yo.
You got
before they see you. If you could run before they see you is one thing, but if they see you, you might want to run again.
The point is not to get locked up.
No, watch this, Chef. Listen, yo, I've been on Minoka. You know what Minoka is, right?
That's a cut. That's, you know what I mean?
And they run to the dead end. So I'm around on the backyard sitting on the porch, right? And on somebody's backyard porch. The shop is up front. The niggas doing their thing. I come out the motherfucker. The police run up on me. I could have broke. I'm not running. They check me. I don't got nothing. They go in the bushes and they find a gun, right? They take me to court. Nigga, I ain't got no gun, nigga. I know exactly how far I was away. Got the lawyer, nigga. He was 500 feet away. What is y'all talking about? Yo, you can check my record.
If you ain't had no lawyer,
it's just the way you do shit. Yo, I don't know. I can't explain it, nigga. I don't know what to tell niggas.
That would have been your gun if you ain't had no lawyer.
Don't hustle. But you right, Chef. Y'all niggas was running. I'll be laughing at y'all. We be like, yo, why are they running like that? Y'all just run to have fun, though, Chef. Y'all was doing that. Tell me everybody
ain't nobody. See, it was probably before Central Bookings. They probably take you up Northwestern Station. Ain't nobody going sit in no Central, but I'm not sitting. Oh my. That's the worst shit in the world.
I waste of time if you could run and evade that.
Hey, Chef, you're right. I went from the station house.
Exactly.
Right? And then I'm saying then it had and then I was in it when they had Central Booking.
And you still wasn't running from you live right around the corner from Northwest Station.
Yeah,
they let you out. You could walk straight back up the street.
Yeah, walk back home.
No, they got rid of the taking people to the neighborhood precincts.
Right.
They take you to Central Bookings.
Yeah.
That shit is a whole nother animal, yo.
Yeah, I've been to Central Booking a lot of times.
You stay in 24 hours.
Yeah, you stay in
24 hours.
Come on.
Yeah, but I can handle 24 hours laying on my back, yo, chilling.
With 15 other niggas with COVID?
In the bullpen, yo?
Yeah, in the bullpen.
I don't know.
You gotta sleep in the corner underneath the fucking bench because you got in there last.
Get mad at me, nigga, for doing it the way I did it. It got me here right now. I feel y'all runners, yo. I get it. I ain't a runner. I done seen plenty of niggas run, yo. I know niggas expert runners. Y'all niggas expert runners, yo. The police drop his gun. This shit be funny. I used to like this shit, though. Yeah, hold on. Here go a good one for you. When the police come and got niggas on their knees, right? Somebody say, yo, they call the police and say, yo, there's a gun, somebody shooting. Then the police leave niggas. We did all the above. It's funny to me. Y'all, I'm just saying my creativity, I did shit a little different, yo.
I don't see the difference in if you run or if you stay. Because when you go to court, nobody's going to be on your side.
That's the difference.
But here what's going on. I find the fellow who was talking before, trying to say that like he not running from police and thing. But if you don't run from the police down here, you might just getting up dead for real. You understand? So you have to run.
Oh yeah, I ain't
the police
in the wrong business.
Mexico.
Yeah,
my fault.
I ain't got that kind of heart. If I know
Mexico, the police to kill.
I probably need to figure out another way to get that couple of hours. You right. And Chef, you right, yo. Like, yeah, I want to run it though, yo. Y'all niggas.
But what y'all think about what Merlin Mosby doing, yo? She pretty much stopped locking niggas up for weed, possession charges, prostitution, all types of stuff.
Half my record be gone, yo. Shit never made no sense to lock the niggas up that was getting high. It was the dumbest shit ever. How about the setup
locking these white people up for the opioids? Now that it's opioids, all of a sudden
It's a health epidemic. You're right.
Medical condition. We need to go after the doctors. We need to go after everybody else and all of this shit. But when it was Iran Contra, Oliver North got a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they tell you, yeah, we did this, and the funny thing is, they was having a whole damn war in Jamaica, and them niggas had already, before Rick Ross and the Iran Contra, they had already saturated the whole East Coast with crack.
But that goes back to trap.
Was in Miami, not in Los Angeles. They had already did this, and this dude is on here trying to tell me, oh, it's a choice. Man,
yeah, it is. Let me explain this. Let me explain this to you. It's traps. And my thing is, let's think about it like this. All right. You know, when you got a mouse in the house, you set out traps, right? You put out traps to catch the mouse. Now, you got the dumb mouse that's going to see the cheese, walk up to the trap, and pow, get his head crushed by the trap. You see what I'm saying? Then the next mouse, the smart mouse, he going to see it. You see what I'm saying? He going to just see the last mouse get his head busted by the trap. So he going to try now to avoid the trap. He going to go learn how to go into the trash can to get his cheese. You see what I'm saying? That's the smart one.
That's
what
the
I'm saying
mediocre
is,
one.
us as a people, we need to start recognizing. Hold on, bro. We as a people need to start recognizing the traps. We know that they are there. We see our brothers getting locked up, falling into these traps all the time. What we need to do as a people is stop falling in these traps. Find another way to eat. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not going to remove the trap.
When was the
They're
last
not going to
time
remove it.
To the trap, and you told them dudes in the trap, yo, you need to find a better way to support your family, because this is a trap. When was the last time?
I do it all the time. You don't know me. I do it all the time.
You right.
That's nothing to me. I go to I live in the hood. I tell these niggas all the time that they need to go out here and start a business. Take some of this money that they making out there and go start a business.
I'm sorry.
But let me tell you.
Nah, Jack, he actually do that though, yo. That's
I actually show people how to actually start their own businesses. I got people out here actually got functioning businesses right now that ain't on the corner no more.
Yeah, he really do that.
I don't believe it's because of what you preaching. I really don't.
Nah. I don't know. He really do that though. He really in them streets. He really in them streets. Ask Chef. Right or wrong, Chef?
Wait a minute. I'm not saying it in that way, like he's not really in them streets. I'm saying that his ideology that he's preaching, I just don't believe that it's effective.
I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the mentality of our people is fucked up right now, and you just denying it and blaming it all on systematic racism. It's just wrong. Because we have to at some point in time, take self-accountability for the actions we make. And until we start blaming ourselves for going out there and robbing that person, because nobody told us go out there and rob that person or shoot that man. We chose to do that shit ourselves.
Just did a very good point when he says that the majority of Black people ain't out here robbing people and shit.
That's
like
in your city. That's in the United States as a whole. I'm talking about my city, Baltimore, Maryland. Half these niggas got pistols in their pocket, and it's not a game.
Baltimore. This country is bigger than Baltimore, and there's plenty of people that got locked up in the system for stupid.
Yeah, it's bigger than Baltimore, but the hood is the hood. I don't give a fuck. If you go to a real hood, it's just like Baltimore.
I grew up in the real hood.
I don't no Northern New York is not the real hood, sis. I'm sorry.
You crazy as hell.
Rochester, New York.
You better go
New York.
Some
It's not rock the hood, babe. I'm sorry.
Go listen to some Griselda. It is the hood. It's very much hood. It's very much racist.
Why? Because it got poor Black people. That's what makes it the hood.
We seen
y'all ain't got a body a day dropping. Y'all ain't got motherfucking 3 people just got shot 2 hours ago.
So basically, you lifting your city up on Blacks killing Blacks.
I'm not lifting my city up on nothing. I'm trying to teach you the truth of what's going on in these streets. Reality.
Dude, I lived in the street. My story, and I'm not about to go.
Now you lifting up the streets because you lived in the street. Now you lifting up the street.
As a female, my story ain't no different from Ank's. As a female, I grew up just the way Ank did, in a different city. Same thing. You talking about back in the? I'm old, so this was
White
back
man
in the.
Done a lot of fucked up
I
shit.
had friends dying when this crack epidemic hit. I had friends dying every single day.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't probably not dying every day, in 2021, but back then I did.
We got something called dope in Baltimore. They've been doing that since the fucking 40s.
I just said that. That these epidemics hit on the East Coast even before Rick Ross was thought about giving drugs to people and cooking that shit up in the microwave. That shit was already going on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. So a lot of us grew up in that shit. That's all we knew. I mean, as a kid, you're gonna make that decision because you don't know no better. But as a grown-up, to get caught up in something like a traffic jam and you put me on $30 a month probation because something that got to do with traffic, you can't tell me this ain't systemic racism. When I go to buy a house and you tell me I only can get funding for a house if I buy a house in the hood, I can't buy a house next to these white people. You can't tell me that ain't systemic. When you telling me that this white boy over here selling crack, he get 5 years probation, but this woman that carried the crack, she ain't even sell it. She got to get 30 years to life. You can't tell me that ain't systemic. You can't.
But we're not talking about. I'm talking about actual decisions.